Man can't see, man can't movie night. What's up, everybody? Welcome to PCP Movie Night, kicking off the 2025 season, and we're coming in strong with a franchise review to kick off the year of PCPX. We can only go to one of the greatest franchises of all time, Karate Kid. Or is it one of the greatest franchises of all time? So tonight we'll be talking about Karate Kid Part 2, Part 3, Next Karate Kid, and the remake starring Jackie Chan and Will Smith's kid. I can't remember if his name is Jaden or Jalen right now, but we'll get to that later on. We got a great panel here to kick off the PCP Movie Night season, so thank you all out there in the chat. Let us know what you think. Join the conversation, as well as my man Jelani. What is up?
Station X.
Station X. I love it. That's the new bit. Station X.
Yep.
Write it down. Hashtag Station X, PCPX, all that stuff. We're being obnoxious with it this year because we're celebrating 10 years, Jelani.
Right.
Of course, we've been doing movie nights personally for a long time.
A really, really long time. So, I guess 10 years of just doing this, nonstop and more has been, I don't know. It's been surreal because I have so much fun doing these. And I look forward now to Monday nights. We were doing them Friday nights.
Yeah,
but
I look more forward to the Monday nights. We couldn't have continued the Friday night pace,
No way in the world.
That was fine for 2020.
Yeah.
But not now. Also, I want to highlight it. Look at the cool new background. It's like we're at the movie theater. You see that? Yeah, it's like we're sitting down at the movie theater. It's like we're Siskel and Ebert, but cool and not squares. You know what I'm saying? I like that.
Hip.
All right. We also got joining us one of my best friends here that I've met through YouTube on comic books. YouTube in the comic book community is my man Fable. What is up, my dude?
Station. Happy 10th anniversary, Robbie, man. PCP. Oh man, so happy to be a part of this and this franchise review as well. Happy to be back, man. Happy New Year, everyone.
Yeah, Station X.
Station.
Station X. And we can't have a PCP movie night without the guy to always round out the panel in the appropriate way. It's Brooks. What is up, my man?
What's up?
You excited to talk about some fucking Karate Kid?
Fucking bet I'm excited.
Me and Brooks in particular are such fans of Cobra Kai. Now, Fable, I know you haven't seen Cobra Kai yet. I'll tell you this. Cobra Kai has deepened an appreciation for every Karate Kid movie, except for maybe Next Karate Kid. But you just wait till we get to it, man. Karate Kid 3 to me is cinematic gold because of how deep that movie is once you watch Cobra Kai.
Wait, right? So Hilary Swank doesn't make an appearance?
Not yet. We all were saying Hilary Swank needs to show up at Cobra Kai. She's the only legacy character who hasn't really shown up. After rewatching Next Karate Kid, nope. Let's act like that movie never happened. But we'll get to that. But we're going to kick it off with the original, directed by John G. Avildsen, who did movies like The Formula, Lean on Me, which I'm a huge fan of, the Morgan Freeman Lean on Me. He did Rocky 5, which I think is underappreciated. He did Seconds, Save the Tiger. He doesn't really, honestly, for somebody who did the Karate Kid, he his Lean on Me, Karate Kid, 1, 2, and 3, and Rocky 5. That's pretty much it. But anyway, it's more importantly, it's written by, what's his name? Robert Mark Kamen. Is that his name? Yeah, Robert Mark Kamen. Music by Bill Conti. 1984. Let me tell you this. 1984, when this movie came out, I'm 3 years old. I don't remember Karate Kid when it first released. I don't remember a life without Karate Kid existing, right? We've talked about this before. Movies like Gremlins, Back to the Future, these were movies that to me were cinema classics for all time. Because when I started watching movies, these are some of the first ones I was watching, right? I watched Karate Kid so much. I loved this movie so much. I had action figures. I remember the cartoon. It was a big part of my life. In fact, I thought for a while that I would go back and recollect those Karate Kid action figures. pretty pricey. It's kind of like the Rambo figures, right? They're pretty pricey. But I would love to get like Karate Kid and Kreese and Miyagi and Johnny and Chosen, because those were characters that had action figures, and they had that cool dojo set, right? Oh my god, the play set. Oh, anyway, y'all, we need some Karate Kid toys up in PCP land. Y'all send them to us. We'll do a collaboration with Go Figure Reviews, and we'll do a whole Karate Kid action figure. I mean, come on, don't you want to see that? But anyway, Kid to me, we mentioned this when we talked about Back to the Future. That Back to the Future was kind of like the perfect script, right? Like the perfect script, the perfect movie. There was nothing to be cut out. Everything just hit pitch perfectly. I would argue the same about the Karate Kid. The original Karate Kid movie is a damn classic for a damn reason. This movie is such a great experience, especially if you're a young kid in the 80s. But even today, this is a story that has translated generations or transcended generations, right? It doesn't translate generations. That's an odd claim to make. But meaning that you can remake this movie in 2010 with Jackie Chan, and those same themes resonate. You can do the Cobra Kai show, where Miguel is basically our Daniel, right? And tell the same story and elaborate on the lore and the mythology of it. You can do this new one that they're doing, Karate Kid Legends, which I'm really excited for. It's one of the reasons why we're doing this Karate Kid franchise reviews, because the new Karate Kid movie drops in May, Karate Kid Legends, and it's going to have Jackie Chan's Mr. Han and Ralph Macchio's Daniel LaRusso combining. So there is no multiverse in the Karate Kid universe. It is one. It just so happened that very much coincidentally, the exact same shit happened to Mr. Han in China with another kid. You know what I'm saying? But anyway, I love the first Karate Kid movie. I think one of the reasons why it works so well, and we talked about this a little bit with Back to the Future, is that character was so important. The characters, like Pat Morita as Mr. Miyagi, Ralph Macchio as Daniel LaRusso, what a chemistry they have. What a genuine friendship and bond that you are on the journey with, right? Pat Morita does a great job, especially in that scene where he's like on his anniversary, he's drunk, and like, dude, what a great fucking performance there. Wasn't he nominated for an Academy Award for this movie? I think he was. If he wasn't, he definitely should have been. I know he didn't win. Let me look this up. Anyway, I'll look it up in a second. But I love the movie. The music is great. What a perfect soundtrack. What a great score. That dun-dun-dun, dun-dun-dun. And like Johnny Lawrence, William Zabka. Like, it's a small role, him and Kreese. But obviously in Cobra Kai, we see how elaborate those characters actually are. But this movie, what I love about it is that Johnny is not just the bully. There is like a layer of nuance there, right? Though he's got a smaller role in this one, we find out more later on. But even Daniel, he's not the clean-cut hero. He's got an edge to him as well, right? And being a kid watching these movies, this movie is one of my favorite films. Now, I have it on Blu-ray. I got a cool Steelbook edition, Cobra Kai edition right there with all the Cobra Kai guys. I love it. I love the Halloween bit where they're all dressed as skeletons. I've been trying to get everybody to do that one year for like Halloween. Like we all dress in the Cobra Kai skeleton outfit, right? Like I would love to do that for Horror Fest. Let's do it this year, y'all. Let's commit to the bit. And at the end of Horror Fest, we'll all dress up as skeletons, right? Does that sound good? Painted faces and everything. The shower costume. Like, I mean, there's so many iconic moments. Elizabeth Shue, man. She was a dream back when I was a kid, man. Like I had a crush on her too. Absolutely. You know, and another connection to Back to the Future. So there you go. But man, I love the film. It's great. It's a classic for a reason. I think it's perfectly paced, excellently written. The filming is great of it, like the cinematography, the shots, everything is so pitch perfect about this movie. I could go on and on and on, but we're gonna throw it on to Jelani. What do you think about the Karate Kid?
Yeah, man, Karate Kid brings back a lot of good memories as a child. I never watched any of these in the theater, not one of them. I saw the first Karate Kid on VHS at school. We had like an after school program, and like some of the times we'd have a movie night or not a movie day, I guess, where they play like, you know, an old 80s movie, or not at the time it wasn't old 80s. It was just, you know, something new they'd show out. They'd be like, hey, you know, let's watch this. So the first time I ever saw Karate Kid was VHS at my after school program. And I loved it. Like, I remember it well. It was good. And then my parents got HBO. And I think I started watching Karate Kid right when Karate Kid 2 had come out. And I wanted to see it in the theater. My parents didn't take me to see it. So I watched Karate Kid 1 and then waited years later to watch Karate Kid 2 on HBO. But Karate Kid stands like in my head as one of the coolest movies as a child I'd ever watched. It's just like Back to the Future. It was the 80s nostalgia beat. It has the same like emotional connection. It has the mentor mentee kind of situation where, you know, the young boy learns to grow and become a man and faces bullies, face adversity with, you know, good old kicking folks in the face with an illegal crane kick. It's how it works, man. It's such a great movie. You're right, Robbie. It's beautifully shot. That music is fantastic on top of the shots. I think my favorite shot in the first movie was and they're playing and he's on the boat and he's training on the boat and it's a silhouette of him on the boat and the water is all around. Oh my God. It's a beautiful shot. There are beautiful shots in all of these movies except one. And it's so nice to see classic 80s villains such as Cobra Kai. John Kreese is a dick. He's sweep the leg. And he's so evil. Do
you have a problem with that, Mr. Lawrence?
Oh, that's Mr. Lawrence. And he's so serious. And like the picture of him, I forgot what was the movie. He was in a movie before this.
He's in Rambo 2, but that was after, I think, right? Was it after this or
was it after?
Right before? Is either after or right before? The same year.
I thought that was like that was John Kreese's like origin story.
It kind of is, right? he was in Vietnam, like, and they elaborate on that in Cobra Kai. So, Fable, you got to watch Cobra Kai. The one thing that we need to get Fable to take from this show tonight is how integral to this franchise Cobra Kai is.
It kind of saves Johnny Lawrence because Johnny Lawrence is not much of a character after the first movie. After the first movie, he's nothing. So, but he's a tragic figure now that you look at it. You know what I'm saying? Before that, oh man, yeah, I hated that guy.
No,
I always hated that guy.
I've heard that. I mean, I think I've heard this before Cobra Kai, but I've always heard the theory that Daniel-san is the villain.
Yeah. Well,
and he came to town and ruined this kid's life.
Yeah, but technically, Johnny screwed himself. When you watch the first movie, there's a lot of stuff that Johnny did that you're like, and Cobra Kai explains some of it, but there's always been Johnny did that he deserved that shit. There's always been this existing
theory that you know, Ralph Macchio came into town and just like upended this kid's life and ruined it.
He bullied him. No, he came to him first. You don't come at me, dog. You don't mess with my girl. You know what I'm saying? You know, and they broke up, so it meant nothing. Plus, you know what? I love Elizabeth Shue, but then we'll get to Karate Kid 2, but Karate Kid 2 brushes her off in such a messed up way. I'm like,
every Karate Kid movie brushes off the main female lead from the previous movie so quickly.
It is like quick. You're like, oh my God, and this happened. But
she left me for a football player.
Yeah, for a UCLA football player.
She went to dance school. Damn.
I was like, damn.
And she messed up his car.
Yeah. The third girl wasn't even his girl. That's messed up. I was like, damn, Danny, you can't catch no breaks. But it was just, it's such a great movie. The first one overall is absolutely fantastic. Mr. Miyagi, Pat Morita, his character transcends so many things. Like, I want a Mr. Miyagi. I wish I'd had a Mr. Miyagi when I was
Everybody
a kid.
needs a Mr. Miyagi.
You need a Mr. Miyagi. You need someone that's older, that can walk you through things, mentor you, teach you to be more than what you are, and give you the technique to wax on and wax off and paint the fence. Paint the fence. He teaches you so much stuff. And when I first watched this movie, that was getting me mad too, because I was like, why is this man making him do all his housework? And then he showed him what the housework was for. And it's so clean. And I know I'm going to this, but the remake does a good job of that too. Of put on the jacket, take off the jacket, things like that. I like that aspect of it because it's kind of the same teachings. It's kind of just, it's everywhere. I would say not Kung Fu is everywhere, but I would say that karate is everywhere. And you can learn it. You can learn it a certain way. A few more things I want to say about this movie, but it's so good. It's just, if you haven't watched the first Karate Kid, you have no business being on this stream. You need to stop this, go watch it, come talk to us, or watch us. I don't know, gush over this movie. It's fantastic. Are we giving scores?
Not yet. Not yet.
Okay, so I would still recommend this movie. The music is fantastic. It's shot well. The cast is fantastic. I hate how abruptly it ends. I don't know what it is about these movies.
I love it. I love how all of these movies, like success, victory, freeze frame in the movie. We're done. Get in and out, man.
Yeah. Da, 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 da. I'm like, damn. It. But it's all right to me. I love these movies. I love this one especially.
Hell
it's
yeah.
Great.
The first one is timeless, man, is what it is, man. Speaking of timeless, Fable. What do you think about the original Karate Kid?
I mean, a lot like what you said, Robbie. It's I don't remember a time where there was no Karate Kid. I grew up on this movie. I mean, I can remember it from the earliest age. Of course, I was also a little kid, so I didn't go to the movies to see it, but it was always on rerun, some sort of afternoon movie special. Always on, so I would always catch it and agree with the whole mentorship thing. I love movies with mentors. That's why I'm such a big fan of Back to the Future. And watching at least the first three movies, it's so many parallels to Karate Kid, Back to the Future. Yeah. It's incredible.
It's Joseph Campbell to a T is basically what it is, right? The hero's journey, the mentor, the quest, the call to adventure, all that stuff is there. The trilogy like really works itself out.
And repeating the same bits throughout, but making them, special. It's just the same movie 3 times, just like Back to the Future. But just done so well. A total encapsulation of the 80s and 80s culture. When they start playing Cruel Summer, I'm like, yeah, boy.
Who doesn't love Bananarama? Come on, man.
Mr. Miyagi. Just who didn't want a Mr. Miyagi? Just like who didn't want a Doc Brown? I mean, these guys, amazing mentors. And yes, he was nominated for an Academy Award for this film. And I knew him from Happy Days.
Happy Days,
yeah. He was the I think he
chef. Ran the cheeseburger shop or whatever the fuck it was, right?
Yeah. And just to let you know, if you don't know about Pat Morita, he speaks perfect English.
Yes, perfect English. He's a stand-up comedian. This was very like outside of his wheelhouse. A lot of people were thinking, right?
Absolutely. So I mean, he totally convinced me he was a immigrant Japanese guy that hardly knew any English. He did it to a T. He did it perfectly. But yeah, this movie's super classic. Johnny Lawrence, another, just you want to fucking smack him in the face. He has that punch him in the face quality, but he's so good at it. I love it. I love everything about this movie. Music, cinematography, writing, just everything. Everything is good. This is like Back to the Future, almost the perfect film. And I could recommend it to any kid that's around 8 to 12 years old. Watch this film, and I guarantee you will like relate to it in some way, because a fish out of water, you know what I mean, coming up, and a mentor teaching a kid, but the kid also teaches the mentor something.
Yeah,
and that's another important part of these films. Yep. So yeah, no, great movie, classic.
Absolutely, yeah, I dare any fucking Zoomer or GAer to watch this fucking movie and not come out of it loving the movie and loving 80s pop hits. Anyway, speaking of 80s pop hits, Brooks, what do you think about Cobra? Fuck. What do you think about the Karate Kid? I almost said Cobra Kai.
Well, I'm like, I can't remember, but when I was a kid, I saw at least one of the kid movies in the theater. I think it was the first one, maybe. Like, what year did this one come out?
84.
84. It may have been the first one. It was either the first one or the second, because I was really young, and like I remember, because my parents like almost never took me to the movies, but I remember my mom took me to see one of the Karate Kid movies. It was probably I think it was the first one, but I'm not 100% on that. But yeah, so like you know, the Karate Kid. It
was actually the next Karate Kid. You know, you just blocked it out of your memory.
Completely forgot.
But sadly. But I did eventually get around to rewatching the original trilogy, which I must say is vastly superior to the much less good fourth movie. But, you know, let's not bury the lead there. Well, yeah, it's like, you know, it is a very classic kind of like a coming of age film, like, you know, teenage kid, like, you know, having troubles at school, like, and like, you know, for being like about karate, you know, the karate isn't really the main thing in it. You know, it's like, it's more about like, he learns more from Miyagi than just karate. Like, you know, Miyagi is so much more important to his life. And like, you know, he becomes basically his father figure by the end of the whole thing. And like, you know, it's just like, it's like Daniel they just kind of slide into each other's lives. And I think that's a great dynamic they found between these two actors. Like, you know, Ralph Macchio and Pat Morita, like two actors you wouldn't necessarily think would fit together, but they just like, you know, play off each other so well that, you know, you believe it. You believe in the Karate Kid.
Absolutely, man. Such a great movie. So let's get to the ratings. You out there in the chat, we see you. Join the conversation like you already have. Out of 5 possible you digs, what do you rate the original Karate Kid? I'll kick us off. This movie is a damned classic. It is a near perfect movie. In fact, I would say it's a perfect movie. It is inspirational. It is entertaining. It is funny. It's got action. It's got some adventure to it even. It's such a good movie. It's anchored by great performances, a great direction and cinematography. The music is top-notch. This is a time capsule of how awesome movies were in 1984, right? Like, they don't make them like they used to. And I'm not trying to be an old man saying that, but I am going to be the old man saying that. They don't make them like they used to. Karate Kid for me, perfect 5. 5 you digs. What about you, Jelani? What do you think?
Yeah, it's a timeless classic. It's right up there with freaking Back to the Future. It's the same movie pretty much. You've got all the same beats. It's a feel good movie. Yeah, I think it's perfect as well. I'll give it a 5 because if you don't like Karate Kid, you're not human. You're not a human. I'm sorry. You're some kind of this cold beast. I don't know. And you need to be swiped down by Voltron. That's how deep it is for 80s. you got it. You got to get it taken care of. But Megatron, you got to go. It's kind of thing. It's too tight. It's just one of those things that you got to experience. It's a total 5.
Hell yeah. 2 perfect scores so far. We got some perfect scores out there in the chat. What about you, Fable? What you sitting on?
I agree with both of you guys, man. Timeless classic. I can't imagine anybody who won't enjoy this. This movie's totally can be shown to anybody, of all ages. It's a family movie. When I was a kid, I was stuck on how cool it was and and how much of a babe Elizabeth Shue was and stuff like that. But as a father of two now, it's like, no, this is like a great, great family movie, man. It's awesome. And you know, when I'm young and when I'm old. So being that, it's got to be a 5. Absolutely.
Oh, yeah. What about you, Brooks? What are you thinking?
Yeah, I'll give this one a 5 too. This is it's the blood sport of like teen coming of age movies. And
you ain't lying.
So yeah, it's you know, it is a classic for a reason. And like, you know, every time I watch it, like I just enjoy it more and more every time.
Hell yeah. Perfect scores around the board here from the panel for the original The Karate Kid. Definitely worth checking out if you've never seen it. I don't know why you're here. The movie came out June 22nd, 1984. On an $8 million budget, it made $130 million. Pretty much a big deal, right?
Yeah.
2 years later, we get The Karate Kid Part 2. There's my copy of it right there on Blu-ray. When I was a child, loved Karate Kid Part 2. Why? I loved the setting in Okinawa, right? I loved the stupid like drum fucking thing, you know, like I fucking love that. I love the ice breaking scene so fucking much. I thought that was so badass. And also there's a Daniel figure from the toy line that comes with the ice that you break, right? And that was the figure I had, right? And I was super excited. I love Chosen as the villain. And if you notice at the end of the movie, do you think that the designers of Mortal Kombat got their Scorpion idea off of Chosen's fucking outfit at the end of this movie?
Just a little, maybe even the castle too.
Just a little bit. And Fable, I'm not trying to harp on this too much, but Chosen is in Cobra Kai. And like they elaborate on that character so much, man. I fucking love it. I love the Okinawan setting. I love the movie. And what's even cooler about it is that the same director, same writer came back, same stars. Everybody but Elizabeth Shue was in this movie, right? And that's just the way it goes in the 80s. They like would recast the female leads very frequently, right? But I love Karate Kid Part 2. I think it's a great film. It holds up for me today. I love that we get to go back and the first movie is Daniel's movie. This is Miyagi's movie, right? I love we find out why he left Okinawa, right? It's because he was basically challenged to a death fight by his best friend Sato over his first love. And like, that's such a genuine romance in that movie. I fucking love this movie. It amps up the scales. Chosen puts like Daniel to a death match at the end of the movie. You get the cool shit with a honk, which is a callback to the opening scene with Kreese and Johnny. And that's where some of the seeds for Cobra Kai are laid. Actually, it's at the end of the first Cobra Kai. Because if you remember, and this is something I love, and I'm always surprised when it happens because I always forget about it. But after Daniel wins, Johnny like brings him the trophy and says, "You're cool in my book. Good fucking game." Like, that was awesome, man. You're great. That opening scene though with Kreese punching the fucking windows out and shit. Oh, I loved that so much when I was a kid. I love Karate Kid Part 2. And watching these movies in reverse order like I did, because I'm so familiar with this franchise, really made it even better than it's ever been for me, man. It took me right back to being a kid. I love the setting. I love the story. I love the unfolding of who Miyagi is and his history. This movie is rich, and I think it's one of the greatest sequels we've gotten, especially in the 80s. What about you, Jelani? What do you think about Karate Kid 2?
I loved it. But I didn't at first. I hated this movie when I was a kid because when I was a kid, I wasn't thinking. I was like, he's not able to do the crane kick. The crane kick was my favorite thing in the first movie, and I was like, oh god, because when I was a kid,
he does do the crane kick, but it doesn't work.
It doesn't work, and I'm like, no. And as a kid, I was pissed because he wasn't doing the crane kick. So I was just like, no, he's got to do the crane kick. It's got to work. And he's like, he's up for it, and it didn't work. And I was like, no, you're supposed to get him. So I was mad at that movie, like, for years. I'm serious.
The drum isn't as cool as the crane kick. I got to admit.
And I was like, I don't mind I'm gonna beat you up. And he looks stupid doing it. He just looks really,
because he is stupid. He's all like, what does this mean? Like
that worked. Like you just whopping him back and forth is working. He's not blocking that.
He always looks pathetic. I love Danielson, but he always looks pathetic.
He does.
Well, what's crazy? Well, none of them, by the way. So none of the actors in these films were knew karate or kung fu or anything like that, right? Not in these original three, right? None of them knew anything. So they brought in a guy to like the fight coordinator, right? Who would teach them these lessons. The fight coordinator is the dude with the fucking stash who's the referee in 1, 2, and 3. Like you see him in 2 because he's in the beginning of the movie. But yeah, he's the actual fight coordinator, the guy who like taught them these moves, but it got people like to get into it, man. And they actually, I think, pull it off pretty decently. Yeah. I mean, it's not like if you watch the trailer for the new one coming up, like that kid's like jumping off of fucking walls and shit. Like he's goddamn Trinity or whatever from the Matrix, right?
But there must have been a big boom in karate school sales after these movies came out. Like,
just ninja and karate movies were so big in the 80s. We remember this, right? American Ninja, man.
But just like kids signing up to like learn karate, like, you know what I mean? Like, I want to do a crane kick too.
Oh yeah, dude. I took like a 6-month course when I was a kid of Taekwondo because I was fucking so into this fucking movie franchise. Anyway, awesome. Jelani, continue.
But yeah, it's one of those movies where it felt darker than the first movie for some reason to me.
It is darker.
I love the setting. Yeah.
You never felt like somebody was going to die in the first Karate Kid.
Not at all.
But here you're like,
this is for real. It's like, this fight's for real. You're going to die if you fight. And it was, I don't know. Yeah. There's so many things about Chosen. He's very petty and very cruel for no reason. And I don't know why he was one of my favorite characters because of it. He was just mean to be mean. He was stealing Daniel's money and all the stuff he did. It was just he's such a terrible person. I was like, how the crap? Like, have you been around this long and not had your ass whooped by somebody?
Man, the first time somebody came at Daniel with a fucking weapon that would kill him was Chosen, right? Like, Chosen was not playing games, bro.
He was not playing. He was an awful dude. And like, he got his comeuppance, but once again, once the kick happens or once the fight is over and he gets his ass whooped, it's over. And I'm like, bruh, I want to see what happens after this. I don't know what it was. I love the girlfriend in this. She was cool. I love the music in this. I am the man who will fight for your honor.
Oh my god, dude!
I love that damn song.
Right?
I would listen to that song when I was a kid because my parents would like. I watched a lot of TV as a kid. If y'all didn't know. But when in the summertime, like I lived on a hill with no kids. So basically I would ride my bike like by myself and stuff like that. And when I was done falling off that bike, I would basically go inside and watch like HBO or Cinemax or something like that and like watch movies. And they were always on. So Karate Kid 2 was one of those movies during the summer I would watch all the time. So I watched pretty much all the time. I heard this song all the time. It was, and for some reason, I like VH1. I didn't like MTV as much as I like VH1. I was one of those kids. But like they played, who's the guy? I don't know who the guy that sang this song, but they played like clips from Karate Kid 2 in the video, in the music video, and it was so good. They just kept playing that song with the clips from Karate Kid 2, and I saw that before I saw the movie. So I was like all about, that video. I was like, I don't know what happens in this movie, but it looks awesome, and it was just like a big trailer for the movie, but with that music. And like a knight in shining armor from a long time ago. Man, I remember all that shit. It was fantastic. And I love the soundtrack. I love the way this one's shot.
That
My
song
favorite
is "Glory of Love" by Peter Cetera.
The glory of love. Yeah, he should have kept this girl.
That was the cruel summer of
back,
this
too.
one, man. I don't know,
Yeah.
man. The first one though has so many bangers, like "You're the Best."
You're the best.
Never gonna take you now.
does.
And then, dude, what always gets me in the first one is that Young Hearts fucking song by Commuter. Oh my God. When he comes back and he's like, there's no turning back. And then they did it in Cobra Kai when Miggy and Sam go on their first date. Fable, you got to watch Cobra Kai, man. You got to watch Cobra Kai.
Well, there goes your other Back to the Future parallel. Remember how we said the first movie of Back to the Future had some great 80s songs in it?
Yep.
Like Power Up. Same thing with the part 1 of this franchise.
It's crazy, man.
Yeah.
It's crazy how they were doing it. But like, this one, like I said, wasn't as dark. It was dark. I didn't like it as much as a kid, but as I've gotten older, I really appreciate this movie too. It was Miyagi, and like, I can't believe Miyagi had a father that was that old anyway. That was crazy. He was still alive. And I would have, and by the way, this is the one part of this movie I got mad at. I'm like, motherfucker, why didn't you go back to Okinawa for your death match when, like, the girl that you love is still here? You married another woman, got her pregnant, she died, and the baby died. And you didn't go back to, like, Okinawa to, like, finish this? What the crap?
He didn't want to kill his friend, dude. Did you learn nothing from these movies, man? Karate for defense only.
But
rule number 2 says, see rule number 1.
Yep. I loved it. He should have just come back and got that girl and left. Be like, I'm going to get you.
Well, here's one thing, though. Like, so at the end of the movie, they have that very tender moment. She goes, will you take me back with you? Well, he doesn't?
Yeah, apparently. Yeah.
It was just a movie.
And I think he like gave her the house. I think he fixed it up because he said all my money was doing with the house or whatever because Tozen and them destroyed it.
And she was like,
he gave her the crib, like, take the crib. I gotta go back home for a minute. Or I don't know what happened.
He just did. He never went back. He was just like, yeah, forget that girl. That they're American broads I can deal with. It was just one of them dudes.
Hey, motherfucker, I'm in Southern California.
That's right. West Side.
He's like, I'm coming back living my best life, man. So you like Karate Kid too. It was something that you didn't like as much, but now you appreciate it more. That's really cool. That's really cool. I like that. What about you, Fable? What do you think about Karate Kid Part 2?
Oh, I love Karate Kid Part 2, man. This is my favorite one. I got to tell you guys, this is my favorite one out of the whole 5 of them.
Wow.
I saw this in the movies, and I was super pumped to see this in the movies because I had, we all love Karate Kid Part 1. So Part 2, man, I had to be there. Be there or be square. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I was not disappointed, man. I absolutely love this movie. This movie, in a lot of ways, introduced me to Japanese culture. Right? This is the first time I've seen like a lot of things. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know about you guys, but I didn't have any exposure to it outside of like Japanese cartoons.
Yeah.
But to see like the traditional dress, the villages, the dancing that they were doing, the lanterns that they were lighting to when the father passed away, the traditions, things like that. Like Robbie said, the ice breaking scene. You know what I mean? The schools. All of this stuff, the honor, talking about the honor and how important that was, which if anything pissed me off, Jelani, that's what pissed me off. It's like, Sato, get over it.
Yeah.
Get over it. You're right.
Bruh, it's been years. Let that shit go, man. Yo, and then he just lets it go after a storm. I'm like, bro, he broke that board. He'd been trying to break all this time. I love that scene. That shit was awesome. He's like, you can kill me anytime you want. And then he's like, it was awesome.
Yeah.
But yeah, he should let that shit go.
Yeah, man. I love this one. I love that opening, man. That opening was fantastic. How it just plays the first movie scenes, and then the whole parking lot scene with the her and all that. I mean,
I mean, he fucking breaks the goddamn trophy and all that shit. And Johnny says, "You're sick, man. You're really sick. You know that, man."
Yeah.
Setting up Cobra Kai. You really need to watch Cobra Kai, Fable.
I will. No, I'm on it, bro.
It's forcing you to watch. At least watch first season. Second season.
I'm watching the whole thing, man. What? I'm OCD for a reason. You'll
watch it all.
Yeah, I watched the whole damn thing, bro.
But not to cut you off real quick. I forgot my favorite scene from 2. 2, my favorite scene is when they're on top of the I think it was on top of the mountain, and it was a shot of Miyagi and Daniel-san, and it goes into from the ocean again.
Yeah.
And it's that mountain scene where they're just practicing. That shit was fire. Like there's scenes, like I said, there's a scene in every movie except one that is just like, just fucking beautiful. But yeah, I'm sorry. Go ahead. No.
This is my favorite one. Conti. Conti is a great composer, but this is the movie where he steps it up. This is where he adds all the Japanese flutes. Like he really puts it on 100. And a lot of the scenes are driven by his score rather than 80s music. You know what I'm saying? A lot of it is driven by his drum and just like, you know what I mean? Like that Mortal Kombat.
Because they were like, how can we compete? How can we compete with the soundtrack to Transformers '86? So let's just really lean on Cody here.
Facts. But and you know, being it that it's a Miyagi story, which is my favorite character of this whole. Let's face it, Miyagi's the freaking man. We all love Miyagi, and this is his backstory and his whole arc or whatever. This to me, again, more Back to the Future parallels, right? Where I feel like the first movie may be a superior film, you know what I'm saying when I say that? Like this is more reliant on part 1, right? You got to watch part 1 to get, just like Back to the Future. But the nostalgia and the things that the iconicism of this one is what I remember most out of the franchise. So I love this just as much. It's interchangeable. I mean, they even took out the girlfriend, man. Come on. Yeah. They took out the first girlfriend too for Back to the Future, man. They changed it to Elizabeth Shue. But hey, the girl they picked in this movie,
she the best one.
And I was in love with her too.
She the best one. I don't give a damn.
Which one?
I was the one from 2. I think her name is the girlfriend. I forgot her name.
I think her name is Kamiko. I'm not 100% sure.
Kamiko, yeah.
Yeah, she was.
I took her with me. I'd be like, thank you.
It's Kamiko, played by Tamlin Tomita. By the way, she's in Cobra Kai, Fable. I'm telling you, they all come back, bro.
Except Hilary Swank. So far,
what's going on, Hilary, man? Come back.
No.
But yeah, no. I love this movie. Fantastic. Second watch, third watch, fourth watch. This one always gets better for me.
Hell yeah. I appreciate that, man, because at the time, critics were very divided on it. They thought the new characters didn't bring anything. They thought Pat Morita was great in it, and he is. It might be better than his performance in the first one, honestly. There's so many levels that he's going through as an actor in that one, man.
They found a Japanese Chosen and a Japanese Kreese, bro, and they were perfect, bro. Like Chosen was perfect, and that's why the crane kick didn't work, because we ain't fighting no tournaments, man. This is real karate, bro.
This is life.
I'm expecting you to kick me right up in the fucking jaw all of a sudden, especially when you make that fucking move, man. But somebody said this in the chat earlier, and I don't remember who it was, but y'all are right there. Like, being a kid thinking that crane kick's like some kind of fucking mystical goddamn thing. Nope, you'll get your ass kicked if you try to do that, dude. Because that's what Chosen does. Doesn't he like grab his fucking leg or whatever? Like, he's just like, what the fuck are you doing, like, bro? Nothing. This is some kiddie shit. Even in part 3, Terry's all like, what the fuck was this? Speaking of what the fuck was that?
Lock that shit away.
Yeah, what do you think, Brooks, about the Karate Kid Part 2?
Well, I like this movie a lot. I will say though, I think it's probably my least favorite of the original trilogy. But you know, that being said, it is still a great movie and like a lot of fun. Like I love the Miyagi is being more central, and like you learn more about him. You know, you learn that he's like, you know, because Mr. Miyagi's whole thing is like fighting is bad. Like, you know, fighting doesn't make you feel good. It doesn't make you feel good to like even win a fight. So like you should only fight, you know, as a last resort. And like, so it makes sense that, you know, he would rather run away from this, like, and like, leave the girl he loves behind than like, have to fight his friend and like possibly kill him, and like that's one of, I think that's a keystone to Miyagi's personality is like, like I think to him the most important lesson he teaches Daniel is you don't want to fight. Like, fighting should only be like, a last resort. And that's why, like, later on, like, the whole idea of him going back to the tournament, he's always trying to convince Daniel to like, not fight, training is good, but, fighting is bad. And like, this movie really gives Miyagi more, and like I love the lesson he also is like, I think he says this in the first movie as well, as like there's no such thing as a bad student, only a bad teacher. I think that like, Sato kind of proves that, he's like, Sato is like, he's just not a very good guy. I don't get the thing of like, he's a rich guy, but he doesn't like use his wealth to enrich his community until the very end of the movie, until like he gets his ass kicked and he's like, oh, now I'm going to be honorable. But like, it feels like he's kind of like, been an asshole this whole time. And I think that's why Chosen ends up the way he does. And like, this movie is like a lot different. Like, because the first time I rewatched it, like I hadn't seen the Cobra Kai seasons with Chosen in them yet. But having seen like, Cobra Kai with Chosen, like it gives this movie a whole different kind of perspective on him, because he feels very one-dimensional in this movie. But like you learn like, later on, like, every villain in this franchise has like, more that they can delve into, which is kind of like, why I think they work as being one-dimensional in these movies. So like, later on in Cobra Kai, they can kind of like, dig more into like, why they're like this, except for Silver, who seems to be just an asshole.
He's an asshole.
They even get to dive into Silver a little bit more, man.
Yeah, Silver's in Cobra Kai too?
Yes, dude.
Yes.
Dude, let me tell you something, dude. Fable, I'm not even fucking with you. Everybody that's in the Cobra Kai franchise is in everybody in Karate Kid is in Cobra Kai.
You just put the cherry on top for me when you told me that. Come on.
Oh, dude. Silver is badass in Cobra Kai. Like, it's great. It is great. We'll talk about that more here in just a few minutes. Hell yeah. Brooks, by the way, just so you know, we're getting audio bleed through from you. So I've been muting you when others are talking because we're getting a bleed through. So if you want to self-regulate that, so you can jump in anytime you want to talk. It seems like it's not happening right now. So maybe you're
like if I need to like just keep my eye on the mute button, I guess.
Yeah, keep your eye on the mute button. Just go in and out, whatever. But right now it doesn't seem so bad. So I think your StreamYard leveled out. So anyway, Karate Kid Part 2, which is actually just Karate Kid 2. There's no part in the title, right? It's not Godfather, right? But I think it is. I think it's like the Godfather 2 of the Karate Kid movies because it's the second one and it's really good. And some people say it's better than the first. I love Karate Kid 2. I love the focus on Miyagi. I love that backstory. I love what it says about the character. He left because he knew he would kill his best friend if he accepted this fight. That's why he left, Jelani, because his love of his friend, or should I say his love of life, superseded his love of his lady. And what was her name? It was Yuki. Yuki.
Yeah. He then proceeded to go to America and fight in World War II and kill a whole bunch of people. Get a congressional medal.
Yeah, but it led to a whole thing. Anyway, this movie, and by the way, real quick, Spilio's going to bed because he's sick. He was supposed to be here. Castle was supposed to be here. John, our buddy. I asked him if he wanted to share his ratings with us. He gave the first one 5, and he gave the second one 5 as well. I'm not going to go that ham. I do love this movie. I think it's really good. I'm going to give this one a 4.9. 69 dudes. I mean, it's almost right there, but it's just not quite the original.
I can't accept that, bro.
Well, you better, because that's what I'm fucking doing. Anyway, one of the greatest 80s trilogies of all time, right up there with Back to the Future and Bill and Ted's Bogus Journey, or Bill and Ted's trilogy. Bogus Journey is my favorite one. But anyway, Jelani, you out there and you out there. God damn it. Hold on. Recollect. Jelani, tell us what you think Karate Kid 2 deserves out of 5 possible you digs, I give it a 4.969. You out there in the chat, let us know what you think.
Focus. Da, da, da. Ah! Oh, this is an awesome movie. I really like it, but it's not Karate Kid, so I will give it a 4.69, dudes. It's clean. I like it. Like I said, and I shave points off only because I didn't like it initially. It's grown on me. It is still fantastic. Yes, there are elements of this in Cobra Kai that bring the seeds. The opening scene for this movie pretty much clinches most of the things that happen because Kreese gets his. This is what I wanted to see at the end of the first movie, and you get that satisfaction because. And another reason I don't really give it that many more points, because 4.69, I think it's there.
That's a really good rating for this film.
It is. I just
yeah, but you gave Street Fighter 2 a 5.
Yeah, you gotta give Street Fighter 2 a 5. Raul Julia acted his ass off. He acted his ass off.
Yeah, if this movie had Raul Julia in it.
It would be a 5. It would be a sweet 5.
He just shows up out of nowhere as
yeah, he's got to be there the whole time. So
Sato's working for him. Sato's brothers with Sagat. Like it's
yeah. The whole thing that knocks it down some more for me is that it recaps the first movie. I hate when movies recap the first movie.
They all do that shit.
I know that.
They're all like, "Do you remember?
Remember this movie? Remember this part when it happened?"
They were in the Jim Shooter fucking era right there. They were like, "This could be anybody's first Karate Kid movie. We gotta reestablish the business." Because at the time, dude, when the second one came out, in 86? VHS and VHS rentals are not widespread yet. Like they're out there. Right, but it's not quite. I mean, they're just now getting to where
we didn't have the internet.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah, like there's a lot of people that maybe hadn't seen the first one that did watch this movie. Yeah, I don't know.
I just hate recaps. I don't know.
The 80s were a weird time. You would go to a video store and get something that was a part 2, y'all, without even watching part 1. It's just weird. Right. It was like part 1's out. They got 2. Let's go.
Yeah, a lot of part 2s were a lot of people's first movie of the.
That's true.
Yeah. Or the one that you saw the most, maybe, right?
I saw Jedi before I saw Star Wars, to be honest.
Yeah. I mean,
I was like, what the hell is happening? You know, why is Darth Vader dead already? And then
by the way, just as well as all these great 80s trilogies that we've been talking about, Bill and Ted, Back to the Future, Karate Kid, they all have a shitty ass fucking NES game, man. They all have a shitty ass NES game. Just saying.
But yeah, it's a
4.69.
Yes.
Hell yeah, I love it. What about you, Fable? What you thinking?
I mean, I agree with you guys in the sense that I do believe the first movie is a superior film, and I think part 2 is definitely a little more commercial. Has to rely on part 1 in a lot of ways, but I don't know. I guess the nostalgia is getting the best of me. I love this film. I think it's my favorite Karate Kid. So I'm going to give it a 5 as well, man.
Hell
this
yeah.
is a 5 for me.
Well, I don't want you to misconstrue what me and Jelani rated these films. We rated them very close to you. 4.69, 4.969. Come on, man.
No. Hey, listen, you gotta live your truth. And I would agree with your scores. I can't really argue with it because Karate Kid is a 5. The first part 1 is a 5. And I do believe this is a step, but just a small step down from it. But again, I guess the imagery, the setting, just everything about it, the Japanese culture, Miyagi, it's a more nostalgic film for me. I had a very, very good time at the movie seeing this, and I always have a good time every time I see it. And you know, Glory of Love. Come on, let's go.
Yeah. I am the man. Yep, you're right, dude. I guess, like, I'll never marry anybody, but dude, if I did marry someone like that, I would let's play that song at the wedding. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
We'll play that, and we'll play "Take My Breath Away," and we'll end it with "Danger Zone."
Hell yeah.
That's good. I like that.
What about you, Brooks, man? What do you think about Karate Kid 2? What do you rate it out of 5? You digs? You out there in the chat, join along.
Yeah, I'm with Fable. This is a 5 too. Like I think the first 3 Karate Kid movies, for what they are pretty much like, about as good as you can get. Like, I was thinking, I might give this one a 4.5, but then thinking about like, not really though, I still do probably love it about like close to as much as the first and the third one. So yeah, I think I'll give this one a perfect 5 as well.
Hell yeah. Pretty much perfect scores across the board. Just some slight shrinkage for me and Jelani, but it was cold. It was cold and it was wet.
Cold. Yep, it happens.
Yeah. So
sometimes you get some shrinkage.
Sometimes you get some, just a little bit. Karate Kid Part 2. Karate Kid Part 2 came out June 20th, 1986 on a $12.5 million budget and made $130 million, just like its predecessor. You don't typically see that in movie franchises, but you see it here. Let's cut to 1989. I'm getting ready for 3rd grade. Just graduated 2nd grade, going into 3rd grade. Karate Kid Part 3 comes out. I have this double feature. And I was like, you know what? That's the way I'll own next Karate Kid. It comes with Karate Kid Part 3. They had to package it with this movie because nobody wants that one. We'll get to that.
No.
Karate Kid Part 3.
Nobody wants 4.
Nobody.
Karate Kid Part 3. Let's talk about this. Same writer, same director. Most of the same cast and crew come back. Different chick this time. It's what's her name? Is her name Robin something? Robin Lively. She was in Teen Witch.
Yeah.
I had the biggest crush on her in Teen Witch, man.
Okay.
She totally friend zones Daniel. She friend zones him so hard. I'm like,
she did, but I think honestly at this point they realized, you know what, if we do a Karate Kid Part 4, we're gonna cast another female lead. Let's not have to awkwardly explain why she's gone. Because she leaves like halfway through the fucking movie. She's gone.
To the movie, she's done. I'm like, what the crap? Why the crap did
you must have been making Teen Witch or something. I don't know, man.
Yeah,
when did Teen Witch come out, man?
I have no
Teen Witch
idea.
was in, let's see, 1989, same year. Wow, what a big year for her.
She had to leave. She had to go do stuff.
What I love is that, guess what, Fable? She's in Cobra Kai.
No way.
Oh, by the way, I didn't tell you this. Elizabeth Shue's in Cobra Kai too. So yeah, dude,
and
they're
she's
all
still a babe.
Yeah.
She's always been a babe. She was in the Babe and the Boys. I was like, damn. There's a reason.
All right, and this one we got Thomas Ian Griffith showing up as Terry Silver. We also got Sean Kanan as Mike Barnes. Guess what? They're both in Cobra Kai. All right. When I was a kid, I liked Karate Kid Part 3, and this one is officially Part 3, right? Which is weird. But I knew that it wasn't 1 or 2. Like, I knew that there was a step down in this movie, and I hadn't seen it since I was a kid. I remember liking, and I do like the bonsai tree stuff, right? And all that. I like that. Like that's integral to the stories. The bonsai tree, they don't really mention in Part 2. It's part of Part 1, but they really bring it up in Part 3 and why that is so important to like Miyagi-Do and just the legacy of the characters and all that kind of shit, right? But even when I was a kid, I knew that Part 3 wasn't that great. So when I'm watching Cobra Kai and he fucking shows up, Tommy shows the fuck up, right? Or Terry shows up.
Yeah.
And in Cobra Kai, I think, was it season 3 that he shows up in, Brooks? Was that what it was?
Yeah, I think it was 3.
Yeah, I think it's 3.
Yeah, I think it was like the spoiler for at the end of 2 was like hinting at Silver.
Yeah.
Right.
So I went back and I rewatched Part 3, like after I had gotten this Blu-ray, right? And I was like, yeah, this one isn't the greatest out of the first 3, right? But to beat a dead horse, Fable, Cobra Kai really elevates Karate Kid 3 more than any of the other movies, I think. It puts a whole new spin on this movie because Cobra Kai tells you the background of Terry and Kreese, which they mentioned. Terry says in this movie, You saved my ass how many times?
Yeah.
You see what happens, right?
Which
like
is,
you see that bond.
Yeah, and that's one of the out there parts of this movie. It's like, really, dude? Like, I bought you 20 gems and I'm gonna spend my life getting revenge for you.
Right.
Like, what the hell did he do for you? You know?
Yeah.
Well, you find out in Cobra Kai, man. So maybe you should watch it anyway. So, but here's the thing, man. This time watching Karate Kid, and maybe it's because I watched these movies in reverse order. So I watched this movie right after watching Next Karate Kid. That made this movie look fucking genius, man.
Woo!
Made it look genius. Plus, when you watch this movie, and I remember talking to Brooks about this years ago when I had watched it after Terry shows up in Cobra Kai, and I was like, man, he's like so fucking ham in this fucking movie. Like, he is the mustache twirling fucking villain. He's hiding behind goddamn walls, laughing. He's like, he can't hide his fucking maniacal fucking smile when he's like lying to Daniel and shit.
He's a cartoon villain. He's a Lex Luthor. He's he's the mustache twirling, tied a girl to a train tracks.
I mean, like, me and Brooks were talking about it this week, and he's like, dude, when Brooks was like, dude, what about when he like tells his fucking staff, like, this week, cancel all meetings. I'm focusing on revenge. And they're like, good idea. It's so cheesy, right? But he's so fucking charismatic as a villain. He might be the best villain in the franchise.
All of them.
He might be the best. Even in let's include Cobra Kai.
Yeah.
He might be the best villain in the franchise. Terry fucking Silver. Basically, Tommy the Green Ranger gone back.
I was going to say that. That's sad.
Oh,
he's got his Quicksilver method. Man can't stand, man can't fight, man can't breathe, man can't fight, man. And it's all just set up for the way he's playing Daniel. Like, he is so fucking, he is Shredder in Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles season 2, the animated series, where he's hiding behind fucking bushes, like watching them and shit like that. Like, it's so fucking silly. And I remember even talking to Brooks, like, man, was this dude coked out? Is that supposed to be the gig? Right? And then in Cobra Kai, they mention that. Like, he says, hey, man, I was doing a lot of cocaine back in those days. Right? But then I'm watching the movie this time, and there's a moment where he's like looking at Daniel, and he's like being all like evil, and he like goes, and I'm like, oh my God, he is on cocaine. I love Terry Silver in this movie. I love the badass karate too. Mike Barnes.
Oh, my bad.
I'm sorry, what was that, Fable?
I was just gonna ask, do you think it's your age? Because I don't know. Like, I agree with you, man. I think he was one of the reasons I hated Part 3 when I was younger, but one of the reasons I love Part 3 when I got older. Does that make sense?
Well, we're also used to like campy villains, and I feel like this was exactly what he was trying to do. Like the performance by Thomas Ian Griffith, right? Like, this is exactly what he was trying to do. Or maybe he didn't do much because he's not like a well-known actor, right? But then if you watch him in Cobra Kai, but at the same time, Kreese is a weak character. Johnny's a weak character. Terry's a weak character. Chosen's a weak character. But in Cobra Kai, where they get to develop these characters out, flesh out their backgrounds, and show you where they are now, it adds another dimension. Cobra Kai. Karate Kid Part 3 was, to me, the weakest of the original trilogy.
Yeah.
I still would say that, right? But I definitely love this movie more having seen Cobra Kai. Like, is honestly one of those things where something done way later on, and Cobra Kai was done 34 years after the original one. That's ridiculous to think about, right? And they have nailed it. They've nailed the tone. They have nailed the acting. They've nailed these characters, the performances. Cobra Kai is one of my favorite shows. Is it the greatest written show? No, it's not.
That's Breaking Bad.
But it is so fucking well done, and the greatest version of Power Rangers I've ever seen. Take away the giant robots and the costumes, dude. Cobra Kai is very similar, man. I'm not even lying.
This kid's fighting school is wild, and they don't get expelled, and it's so weird. I'm just like, y'all had a full brawl in freaking school, and no one gets expelled.
It
All right.
looks like Tony Silver should definitely. Silver should totally be Rita Repulsa's henchman or something.
Yeah, no, he is Rita Repulsa.
Yeah. There he is, Rita.
Actually,
Yeah.
Kreese is Rita. He's goddamn Lord Zed.
He's
When he
Zed. He's Zed.
shows up in season 2, I'm Lord Zed. Conqueror of all I survey. Oh, fucking badass. Anyway, to wrap up my thoughts on this movie, it's cheesy. It's not as good. Daniel's gained some weight since he got back from Okinawa. I don't know how much fucking food he was eating out there, but it is weird when you watch these movies so close together. You're like,
he's really fat.
That's why I think that's why they got the bit where he's like jogging with Robin Lively, right? And she's like, "Oh no, we got to get you in shape." And I'm like,
that's why he's
if you really think about it, Karate Kid 1, 2, and 3, that's 1 year.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah.
Because it's one
Less
tournament
than
to the
that,
next.
right?
You know, maybe a little bit more because it takes place before the first tournament, and then this one leads up to the tournament.
6 months later in 2.
2 months to the
6
first
months later in
tournament.
2.
And then he went to Okinawa. I don't know how long they stood out there.
They stayed there.
It was like they were there for like the summer, basically.
Well,
right?
He was 2 months to the tournament. Then they did the scene in the parking lot. Then it was 6 months later.
Yeah, because he graduated.
Then he goes to Japan. Yep. Then he goes to Japan. I don't know how long he stood in Japan, but this is right when they get back from Japan, so it's even less than a year right there.
Yeah, this is basically Karate Kid Part 2 is Karate Kid Summer Vacation.
Yeah.
Right. And I'm surprised he didn't call it that, honestly. But yeah, he gained some weight. He gained some weight over the summer. I'm just gonna say that. Right?
He had a dumpy jowls. And
it's fine though. He's way more in shape than. Well, I can't speak for Brooks or Fable, but definitely more in shape than me and Jelani are right now. So.
I'm fat.
And he's in better shape now, Daniel LaRusso, than he was in Karate Kid Part 3. Yeah. Honestly, he's a pretty fucking good looking dude for somebody in his fucking 60s, man.
I know.
That's ridiculous if you think about that, man. I like Mike Barnes. He's super intense. He's an asshole. He gets elaborated on. I like Kreese, like in the depths of depression at the beginning of the fucking movie. And then he shows back up just to be like, to go along with the Power Rangers. He shows up like the fucking baboon squat, just like
I got frosted tips.
Yeah. But no, Karate Kid 3 this was the most enjoyable time I've had watching it, man. Like watching it after Next Karate Kid was a big benefit, but like just loving the cheese factor of it. And I love that Daniel's like, this is his dark side turn. Right. This is where he's like maybe lured into the dark side. Right. And Miyagi doesn't want to teach him and he wants to do this tournament. And these seeds were sown in Part 2 where he asked him, he's like, what are we going to do next year? He's like, Miyagi tells him like, I don't think you need to do it again. That's already set up and they do it here. But then that Mr. Miyagi gives so much to Daniel. Daniel's trying so hard to give back in this movie. And that's really charming to me. And something I really, really like. So I like that they go back to the tournament. I like Karate Kid Part 3. I'm rambling now. What about you, Jelani? Karate Kid Part 3. What do you think?
It is definitely the weakest of the series. Definitely. It is
of the trilogy, not the series.
I'm saying series. This is trilogy. It's also a series of movies.
You think this movie's weaker than Next Karate Kid?
Hold on. We're not even that's a different category. I'm gonna talk about
it's the same series, man.
Hold on. You're not listening to me. That's the other thing too. And you cut me off. Slow down. Now, this is the thing. This is the weakest. This is the weakest to me because the story is paper thin. I know he's giving back. I like it. And plus you see his car salesman, the car salesman he will become in Cobra Kai, trying to sell Miyagi the building that they have the bonsai trees to sell. He's got pieces. You see it coming, and so I agree with that. I don't like the friend zone. I hate it. I don't know why Robin Lively just couldn't I gotta kiss you on the cheek. And it was just like, oh, we're friends. I hated that bullshit.
I like
don't know
the
why.
idea that there's no
I hated
romantic,
that
like the
bullshit.
female lead is not a romantic interest necessarily in the
Which
film.
is
I like that.
fine. It's okay now. I get it. I just don't like it. Okay, can I just
Plus,
say I
do you
don't
really
like it?
wouldn't it be
What does Serene
unbelievable?
love?
I'm not trying to.
What does
I know you
Serene
love
love?
romance stories. Not trying to cut you off, but don't you appreciate that? Do you honestly think Daniel LaRusso is that much of a lady killer in his team?
That dude is dancing his ass off in 2. Did you see 2? I ain't gonna mention that shit. That motherfucker can dance.
Dude,
He
let me
got
tell
that
you something.
riz.
There wasn't
Daniel
a
LaRusso
teen
got that
magazine.
riz. He pulled 3, bro. He pulled 3,
There
bro.
wasn't a teen magazine in all of 1980s that didn't have Ralph Macchio on the cover.
Ralph Macchio was that dude.
Yeah, they all thought he was so dreamy.
Crazy.
It's that olive skin, man. It's that Italian olive skin. That's what it is, man.
He's skinny. He's a wiry kid. He's fast. He can dance his ass off. Bro, he was getting.
He can do shit like this.
He got dumpy. He got dumpy fat. He got dumpy fat in this movie, and it just looked awkward. And then it's just little things in this movie kind of irk me because the story I feel is kind of weak with the bonsai tree because really they don't do anything with it. I mean, he puts the tree. They get the tree. It forces him to sign the contract to start the tournament. They break the tree. Then they fix Miyagi fixes the tree. Then they put the tree back where it was instead of selling it, even though it's $10,000.
Yeah, because honor in life is more important.
Which is money. Fine. That's cute. Whatever. $10,000. Fuck that noise. In the 80s, $10,000 is like $1 million. Fuck that. No, sell that tree. You probably could have got 20 for it. To Silver. Fuck Silver. Also, oh yeah. Go okay. Terry Silver. Here I go. All right. I've always hated Terry Silver. Now, Terry Silver is the greatest villain, like we said, in this series, period. Hands down. Like comic levels of villainy. His ass impresses me with how petty he is. The fact that he's willing to do all these things. And by the way, he does all these things with no comeuppance. Other than, man, that motherfucker got his ass whooped. He, Kreese, and that dude, and the kid got their asses whooped by me. Asses handed to them by Miyagi. And they getting up and laughing and joking. And, oh, can't wait to see you in the tournament. We're going to whoop your ass. I'm like, motherfucker, no.
I
You
know.
lost. If Miyagi's whooping your ass, Danny gonna whoop that boy. It's gonna happen. And like I assumed in this movie that Silver was gonna hit Miyagi some kind of way, and they were just gonna try to triple team him. Now, of course, Miyagi's gonna handle it because they can't make him look weak. It's like a wrestling thing. You gotta keep your main dude strong. And like I just assumed he would do something cheaty, like grab a taser, like they did for Goldberg, and just tase his ass so they can beat him. And like something happens, you know what I'm saying? And they throw him in the woods, be like, ha ha, Miyagi, racism. You know, I thought some shit like, whoa, whoa. I do love that shit though. That scene where Miyagi kicks their ass, to me personally, that's the best scene in all of these movies. All these movies. He takes out all 3 of them motherfuckers and don't care. And like, it's amazing to me that Silver was that arrogant because it was cocaine. It was definitely cocaine. He was unstoppable. He kept laughing because like he did 4 lines before he started this thing. And hey, Danny, push this board. Go ahead and push this board and keep going. There's so many aspects to Terry Silver that they should have explored more with him. I think he should have received, other than the loss at the tournament, I think he needed to receive some kind of comeuppance. Like, I don't know, the feds are waiting on him because of the bribe thing that he started to do. Something
or dumping toxic waste.
Dumping toxic waste.
Borneo.
Right. Something should have happened at the end of the movie to wreck Silver because technically he's going to make 20 Cobra Kais. You know what I'm saying? It doesn't matter what happens in this tournament. I'm going to put 20 Cobra Kais in the valley and make a fortune. You know what I'm saying? It doesn't matter because money always wins. with these guys, especially in the 80s. It was just gonna be that way. Terry. I've always hated Terry just because of his arrogance, his hubris, he's so obnoxious, and it's a good obnoxious. Like it's impressive how Thomas Ian Griffin like made an evil Tommy. He basically made an evil, and he is Thomas being Tommy. It's very impressive that his name.
He's like the Green Ranger that never turned good.
Yeah,
he should have brought out his goddamn dragon dagger flute thing and just fucking giant fucking
Lord
Zord shows up.
Yeah, he's Lord Draco.
Kreese Zord shows up.
Yes, it'd been awesome. But Kreese was useless in this too. Kreese has his problems because he's a prop. He's basically set up as a prop. He's like, hey man, my dojo's ruined. I'm poor. I can't pay my phone bill. All these stupid things, right? And Silver's like, don't worry about it, dog. You're going to Tahiti. I'm gonna take you to Tahiti, and then I'm gonna figure out a way to ruin this guy's life. He gets people to get a raggedy car for him and some clothes. I love that shit. He was like, yeah, I want this truck. And like the girl, Robin, like she loves the fact that truck. She's like, I love that truck. It's very nice. You know, it's like it makes him look humble. And like he planned this shit out. It's just so clean. It's chef's kiss. But it's such a weak script. I told you about I have a scene for every thing, but that, like I said, the shot is basically the ass whooping. It's an entire scene. It's beautifully choreographed. They don't show a good wide shot in this movie, other than the tree, the bonsai tree, and them going down the waterfall, which is fine. That's okay, but it's the fight. The fight trumps it. So I like this movie, but I don't like it as much as the two preceding it. The best part of the movie is Terry Silver, hands down. He's nuts. Cocaine! And now
Shit. It's like, is Jack Nicholson here? Like, is it like what the fuck is going on, man? No, I get what you're saying, man. I would agree. This is a very weak script, right?
And David's fat.
He's not fat, but he's not as slender as he is.
Yeah.
All right, Jelani.
He's dumpy.
You calling Daniel in this movie dumpy is kind of fucking funny. Anyway, dumpy. Speaking of funny and dumpy, this man's not dumpy, but I bet he likes dumplings. What the fuck? What do you think, Babel, about Karate Kid Part 3?
Yeah, you're right. I am like Fat Danny.
Fat Danny.
Fat Danny Danielson. Absolutely.
But, fat. Yeah, it's perfect.
The reason why this movie is weak is because it's a total cash grab. Mm-hmm. This movie they had to put something together as fast as possible and like basically wash away part 2, because part 2 solved everything in a lot of ways. You know what I mean? We solved Daniel's problems in part 1. We solved Miyagi's problems in part 2. We got to create some new problems. So we bring in this maniacal villain who's a chemical dumping Vietnam War veteran that just loves to just get revenge for his best friend, and it has to work. I hated this movie when I was younger, but I appreciate it more because of Silver. And I don't know what it is about his villainry in this movie that I just get a kick out of it, where I didn't before. I thought he brought down this franchise immensely, like in terms of like prestige. But now I'm like, no, this guy is badass. He's like the baddest ass villain in this whole thing. So he saves this film because, we love Pat Morita, but he didn't do much. You know what I'm saying? And Daniel,
that bit where he's like, where Daniel asks him how to teach him how to sweep.
Yeah,
that's really fucking funny.
And he brings the broom.
But you don't have those bits from the first 2, where like Miyagi's training him, teaching him something. Right. Miyagi's not teaching him anything in this movie. But there's also one of the things I do like about the film is this is where they break apart, and you feel from Pat Morita, I think, in this film,
because he does cry. Yeah, he does cry.
Right?
In this one.
He cries in all of them, right? That's his bit. He's like, I got nominated for an Academy Award. I'll cry in all these bitches. Except for Next Karate Kid. He refused to cry for that one.
You do have Silver, who, not for nothing, if he wasn't such a villain, is a pretty good teacher. I mean, he turned Daniel into a lean, mean fighting machine. I ain't gonna lie. He started breaking those boards like nothing when he got him, he got to him. He knew how to manipulate him or whatever.
He's like the anti-Miyagi, right? So because Miyagi's teaching him these movements, right? And those movements become something, but he's like, no, hit this piece of fucking wood until your knuckles fucking bleed. And then we'll do it again tomorrow. Like, he breaks this fucking kid, right? He really does,
and it
dude.
works, man, because he punched that dude in the club in like 2 seconds, man. Hesitate. Was like, what? Boom, get off my girl. But the only thing I didn't like, really that pisses me off, that got me going, is Daniel himself. Daniel becomes this manic depressive like weirdo in this movie. Like, in the first movie, he's the cool kid from Jersey. He's the smooth, he's a smooth operator. And then by the time he gets to this film, he's like, I don't know, I should go to college. Or maybe I shouldn't go to college. I don't know what to do. Maybe we should go over here. Mr. Miyagi, what do you think? I know, I am so stupid. I'm so stupid, Mr. Miyagi. I know, I'm lying. What am I doing?
Don't be.
What the fuck is wrong with you?
Yep.
Like, where did you lose your edge, man? Your coolness. Like, you just got Elizabeth Shue. You got Kamiko.
Well, he got dumped by both of them, so maybe that's it, Fable.
Yeah, something happened to his character where he just became like, what's that kid from the Transformers movies?
The Shia LaBeouf guy?
He became Shia LaBeouf in this movie.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah.
Big time. So
From
that
the
was
second
like,
it's almost like in the script, they were like, well, we got to get him back to being like bullied in this movie, right? Even though he's like...
And the bullies were useless. That's another thing, too. The bullies were like, they show up and they're just, hey, you better sign this. I'm like, call the fucking cops for real. Like, you didn't do anything.
And what's crazy is that, we keep telling you that everybody's in Cobra Kai, right? The fucking one of the henchmen, the guy that like, I don't know, the guy with the fucking mullet that's like just one of the henchmen. He randomly showed up in the new season of Cobra Kai and they had a flashback and I go, oh, fuck, is that guy?
Yeah.
That guy was annoying too. Barnes, I didn't like Barnes at all. Every time he's like, come on at me.
This was like the other guy though. I'm talking about the third guy.
You couldn't find
I know
Johnny
the other guy
Lawrence.
with the jacket.
They should have had Johnny Lawrence back in this.
Yeah,
like as the evil guy.
Take a hit, come on.
I don't know.
That's his only stick in the whole movie.
Yeah.
He'd smack Ralph Macchio, and Ralph Macchio tenses up. He's like, come on, take a shot. And I'm like, oh, come on, this guy.
Yeah, Karate Kid 3 subtitle shouldn't be Cash Grab Boogaloo, as Hydra Asylum says. I think it should be Karate Kid 3, Daniel LaRusso versus early year one Johnny Cage.
Yes.
He hadn't learned his shadow kick yet. Anyway, I'm sorry, Fable. Go ahead and wrap up.
Oh, no. This is definitely of the trilogy, because this was all directed by the same guy, right? Am I correct?
Same writer, same director, same composer.
Yeah. So this is absolutely the weakest of the trilogy. It may also be the weakest of the all five, to be honest, because I know you guys hate part 4, but part 4 isn't. It's same levels of terrible. The only thing is that Silver is a better villain than Michael Ironside. I'll say that. But it's like, I don't know. They got same levels of terribleness. But anyway,
you're kind of pissing me off right now, Fable.
I don't think part 4. I don't know.
We'll talk about that. We'll get there. God damn it.
I want to hear what Brooks has to say.
Jeez.
Yeah, Brooks, what do you think about Karate Kid Part 3?
Well, I think like initially I would have probably put this movie like at the bottom of the trilogy, but I've got that post Cobra Kai thing going, so now I think it's not like this time watching. I'm like, this is my favorite because like I love like it just goes all. This is the point where it's like they just go all out. It's like it's as ridiculous as the Karate Kid franchise is allowed to be, and Silver just like just Silver, man. Like I love he has that fucking demonic grin. Like he just like I wish they'd have done more with him. Like I wish he had after the fight, after he won the fight against the bad boy of karate. I wish Silver just jumped out and they'd had a final showdown. But I do kind of like that it ends like the first two movies with kind of an NES video game ending. Like congratulations, Daniel-san, you defeated the last boss. Game over.
Yes. I love that Miyagi's wearing the same goddamn suit.
With the flaps, with the collar.
Yeah.
That super white collar. And he's still smiling the same way. Bum, bum, bum. He's like, I love it. I don't know. Yeah, he's got the same look.
A Karate Kid is probably the most solid franchise I've really seen go, because it feels to me it seems good all the way through, and it can be tricky sticking the landing, especially on a franchise like this. And I think this movie does it pretty well. It's just fun. It's just a fun ass movie.
Hell yeah. All right, Karate Kid Part 3. I'm going to give this one a 3.5. I would have given it less a few years ago, but this time, man, especially with the Cobra Kai influence, Karate Kid Part 3 is so essential to the lore of the entire franchise now, when you include Cobra Kai, right? Everybody kept asking me, are y'all going to also do Cobra Kai? No, we're not going to do that. But Cobra Kai is a part of the conversation because it really does elevate these movies. And in particular, I think it elevates 3 even more. I love Terry Silver. I love this movie. I think it's good. 3.5. I think that's very generous. What about you, Jelani? What are you thinking? You out there in the chat, let us know.
This one's a little hard to rate because there's so much worse. I'm gonna also give it a 3.5. It's Terry that puts it to the 3.5 for me. It's just Terry. There's nothing else that's changed. Like I said, I like the rift between Miyagi and Daniel, but at the same time, yeah, it was still kind of weak. I don't think they played it. They should have played it to where Miyagi, he never loses faith, but then I think that he should have seen Danny and been like, you shouldn't go this path. This isn't what you want to do. And the oddness for him not to train him for another tournament, just to not do it. I'm like, why not? I mean, he's a Karate Kid. He did a crane kick on somebody. I mean, just get him one more trophy. That's all he would have wanted. And it's an under 18 competition, so he doesn't do it anymore. He can't do this again. And so I don't know why he couldn't have just trained him. And then when Silver trains him, and I don't know, Danny just didn't have the wherewithal to understand that he was being played. That's what I didn't like about this movie. He's an Italian kid from Reseda. He should know exactly when he's being played. And it didn't feel like he did. He walked right into it. It didn't feel right to me. They're just little bits and pieces like that. It's kind of weird, and the whole Robin thing bothers me still. So yeah, 3.5 ought to do it. But Terry puts it over the edge.
All right.
Terry
I can vibe with that. I can vibe with that. Fable, what are you vibing with, man? What do you think?
I think it was the jet lag, Jelani. He never got over the jet lag from coming over from Japan.
It made him
screw with his sleep pattern. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
He was totally off of this movie. I'm right there with you, man. This movie's actually a 3 for me, but I'm gonna go up to a 3.5 because of Silver. Mm-hmm. He absolutely saves this movie. His maniacal villainry is fun to watch.
Yeah, it is fun to watch.
Even though everything is weaker in this movie, every aspect, from the reasons why to the tournament. I mean, that was a weak ass. That ain't no crane kick shit. That ain't no Sato drum shit. And you know what I'm saying? It was totally horrible, that last scene, that tournament scene with Barnes, man. I thought it was terrible. So yeah, it's actually a 3 because it still has my favorite characters. Like I love these characters; they're beloved characters. They're characters I grew up with. I would love to see more Daniel, more Miyagi, and all that stuff. But you could feel the cash grab in this. So yeah, no. Silver saves this movie and elevates it from a 3 to a 3.5.
Fable, you really got to watch Cobra Kai, man. Like I cannot wait to have a chat with you after you've watched. I cannot wait. What about you, Brooks? What do you think about Cobra Kai? God damn it! I keep saying Cobra Kai.
I'm you're like Cobra Kai. Damn! Calm down,
my goddamn
son.
DVD and my Blu-ray of Part 1 is a Cobra Kai set. Like I love fucking Cobra Kai, man. Brooks, what do you think about Part 3?
Well, like I think I like Part 3 significantly more than you guys, but like I can see its flaws, but just because a movie has flaws doesn't mean they necessarily like taint the experience too badly for you. Like I know this movie does try to do a lot, and like it doesn't always succeed, but I think like that it plays when it plays to its strengths. It's like one of the most. It's the most enjoyable, I think, of the 3 movies for me, just because they're just going all out with it. Like they're like the stakes are raised. Like the villains are going full like Walker Texas Ranger mode. Like it's just going all out, and like I'm there for it, and I love it. So I'll give this one a 5 too. Like I think the original trilogy is 5s across the fucking board. Like,
wow, let's go. I love it. That was awesome.
Oh my God. A perfect score from Brooks. Wow. Okay. All right. I think you should rewatch Funhouse maybe. Anyway.
Rewatch Funhouse or watch it.
That's some interesting fucking. So a 3.5 from me, Jelani, and Fable, and a 5 from Brooks. Very interesting. Mostly 3.5s from the chat, it seems like, on average. We're going to take a quick break. When we come back, the moment everybody's been waiting for, we're going to be talking about the next Karate Kid. And
the next one, Jesus. There's another one.
We're gonna do that right after this quick break. And we're gonna do that and then the remake, and we're gonna be wrapping up. So we'll be right back. All right, everybody. Welcome back to our franchise review of The Karate Kid. By the way, we just wrapped up our discussion on Karate Kid Part 3. It came out June 30th, 1989 on a $12.5 million budget, made $38.9 million. So like basically almost $100 million less than the previous two. Yeah. It makes sense why they waited till 1994 to do another one.
This costs more than Part 2?
Yeah. Well, movies cost more. Inflation, Fable, you know?
True.
So now we're talking about Next Karate Kid, which I only own physically because, well, I'm kind of a franchise whore. So honestly, like, there's that. But I basically bought Karate Kid 3 and got the Next Karate Kid along with it. This is the second time I've ever seen this movie. It is written by Mark Lee. It is directed by Christopher Kane. Who is Christopher Kane? Christopher Kane did movies of note such as Young Guns. Fuck, this is the director of Young Guns?
That's a shame.
If you look at his fucking thing, though, that's all he did. Gone Fishing. I know that movie. September Dawn. He's a bad director, y'all. But he made Young Guns. Young Guns. We've never done Young Guns.
No, we haven't.
That's a great double feature. We got to do 1 and 2, right? I don't know. Maybe just 1 is alone worth it. Like, one. Young Guns is a great movie. So was Part 2. Anyway, but they're great in a really cheesy way. So Next Karate Kid came out in 1994. I remember watching this movie when it came out, and at the time, I thought it sucked. I was 13, so maybe I didn't have the best like idea about what movies were or anything like that. I watch it as a 43-year-old man, and this movie sucks. This movie really sucks. This movie blows, man. Let me tell you something. So this is the one where Daniel LaRusso's not in it. Pat Morita is back as Mr. Miyagi, but he goes to a funeral of like one of his like army buddies or some shit like that, right? And he winds up because I guess her father.
So weird.
No, it's her uncle. I don't know because it's like her parents.
Her parents are dead. Yeah.
Pat grandfather dies.
Grandfather dead.
Yeah. So anyway, Mr. Miyagi winds up in a new situation with a new kid. Hilary Swank. Hilary Swank is actually very cute in this movie, right?
She is.
But man, this script is fucking bad. This script is so fucking bad. It doesn't even like do the Force Awakens bit and just try to recreate shit. It just does something stupid. Like I was on the EXP earlier tonight with Rex, right? We were talking about this movie. And he was like, oh yeah, the rock garden shit. Like that really pissed me off. And I was like, you're right, dude. Like in all these movies, it's like wax on, wax off, sandpaper, fucking paint the fence. And like, that's a great fucking bit in that first movie, you know, show me paint the fence. Wah! Wah! Right? And it is so good. What's that moment in this movie? What is it? What is the moment in this movie?
Jump from one rock to the other.
Jump from one rock to the other. Exactly. Get the fuck out of here, man.
And you don't see her jump from one rock to the other.
God,
that's the worst part. You don't jump.
This movie fucking sucks. It's the worst of 90s movies, man. This is what this is. It's like cheesy Hallmark Disney Channel fucking Karate Kid. It's so fucking stupid. This movie fucking blows. It sucks. There is nothing redeeming about this movie. Not even Pat Morita coming back. I feel bad. I used to be there. Brooks, you remember me and Brooks talk a lot about Cobra Kai. And we all the time, dude, Hilary Swank, they need to bring her in, right? No, they don't. This movie never happened. It exists in the realm of Blade 3.
I think Cobra Kai could redeem Hilary Swank.
Shut the fuck up right now with your whore ass mouth, man. I'm telling you, this movie sucks so bad. It's best left forgotten. It sucks. Here's what even sucks more about it. You want to talk about bad villains? Michael Ironside. Scanner himself, God. Man.
Jesus.
Who the fuck is he in this movie? And why are the villains in this movie a fucking, I don't know, like an evil version of a safety patrol? They're like hall monitors. Like, what the fuck is that? They're gonna kill these people. This is the only Karate Kid movie with
blow up a car.
This is the only Karate Kid movie with an explosion. First of all, that doesn't make sense. Why? I put it in the goddamn intro because I was like, we got to remember This is the one that had the explosion.
Oh,
What
explosion.
the fuck? Karate Kid, the next Karate Kid,
Jesus
fucks ass. And if you've never seen it and you're watching this show, don't
watch
it. It's bad.
Fuck this movie. Fuck this movie. Fuck this piece of shit. Fuck. Now, I can say this because.
Also, real quick, before you get going, why the fuck is he going to take this chick, right? Plus, it also really like leans into that whole like women tougher than men. You know, it leans into that, which is fucking stupid and cringy. But why the fuck is he going to take Hilary Swank's character to the goddamn temple where he learned fucking like meditation and all this philosophy, but he never what the fuck? Imagine taking Daniel there in part 4. That would be amazing. That would be so fucking cool. And you know that fucking Ralph Macchio came for it. What the fuck else is he doing?
How convenient that temple is there where he doesn't live nowhere next to that. Like he travel. I don't even know what state that is.
Where do they go? I don't know.
They're in Boston.
There's no location in this fucking movie, man. Anyway, I'm sorry, Julian. I just hate this movie so much.
It's true, man. It's so fucking bad. No. Dude, you guys don't watch this movie. It's a piece of shit. But I will say this. I can say this because in 94 I was in high school, so I can say this. Hilary Swank is cute. She can almost get it. She got this goofy ass face.
She can almost get it. Put it on the box.
Like
Jay is right. Jelani gives us the best quotes. We need to like start writing these down and making t-shirts, man.
Hell yeah,
she can almost get it. I mean, I think we can sell a few of those shirts.
Yeah, she can almost get it. Like she got nice tatas and she but them bangs, that whole hairstyle fucks up her whole demeanor.
The bangs, man. That was the thing back in 94, man.
Not the bangs. They're terrible. I hate she nursing the fucking bird. That shit don't go nowhere. I hate the boyfriend because he's stupid. And he looks 45. He's my age.
Dude, all the freaking kids in this movie.
Jay, write it down and send it to me tomorrow. Yeah. Send that to me tomorrow, Jay, so I don't forget it. Because I will forget. I don't have a pen. So.
She could get it. She could get it, but like, nah. And like, there's so much going on in this. She goofy. She wears the dress, and like, she wears the white dress that Miyagi picked out for her. And I'm like, nah.
Travis gets best comment, by the way.
Yeah. So. And like, it's so weird. This movie takes so many dumb turns. Michael Ironside's stupid paratrooper group. They go to the damn prom or the homecoming dance, what the fuck they're doing.
That was the stupidest shit ever.
Why do you come from the ceiling?
I do love, like Travis pointed this out. I do love that every fucking movie has a song that encapsulates the era, and they do have Dreams by the Cranberries.
They got Dreams, and they got I mean, it's music. Music exists in it, and the soundtrack is okay,
and it's country too. Again.
Yeah,
I think it's coming back for this one.
Standard, generic.
He's like the only motherfucker that came back then. Hold on.
Yeah, he's the only one.
It is Bill Conti. Yeah, Bill Conti, and of course Pat Morita came back. Oh my god, came back.
And it's like, why the hell did we make this movie? Like, we gotta make money. We can't get Ralph Macchio because he's probably dumpy as fuck at this point. And like, he just. There's nothing going on. And the monks, the whole monk dancing bullshit, I hated that. I hated all the monks. I don't know why I hated them. I just hated them. I outright disliked them. Like for a lot of the movie. Why the fuck are you going to the fucking house? Come visit me. Okay. And then they go, it's like 3 of them. Instead of like 19.
Yeah, it turns into budget sister act for like 10 minutes.
So bad. Yeah.
So we've never done the sister act, man. That's a double feature. We gotta do both of those, man.
Yep. Why the hell did they blow up that car? What the fuck was the point of pouring gasoline?
Because they're evil, dude.
What the fuck? What? Look. The second my car blew up, I'm going to the cops. I'm like, Fuck y'all. No,
dude, that's no honor. You gotta fight them motherfuckers right there in the ring of fire, like a man.
What they gonna do? Kill me? No, whoa, you gonna blow up my car, and then you gonna what? Kick my ass, and then all of a sudden, Michael Ironside's gonna tell the cops, hey cops, he was driving recklessly, so we kicked his ass.
Michael Ironside should never work for any school ever at any time. Yeah, that he violated so many kids. He
broke so many school rules. His little team should have been expelled for the little stunt they pulled. Who's these weak?
I would buy this more if they were the football team or the basketball team or something, right? But they're literally hall monitors, man.
That's it. This is all we could do. This is all we could do with them. And then Pat Morita, poor Pat Morita. I feel bad that this was the last Karate Kid movie he was in, and like it hurts my heart that like he does. Yeah,
spoilers, Fable. He's not in Cobra Kai.
He's not.
His presence is felt throughout, though.
Yeah,
you cannot mention.
And actually, he's kind of in it because they did that bullshit. You know, they always do that bullshit in these movies where they CG somebody who's dead or like whatever. Yeah. But when they did it in Cobra Kai in the newest season, it actually works, man. It actually works. Okay. Dude. So Miyagi is actually in Cobra Kai now that
he is. This poor Pat Morita, I feel just terrible.
They need to bring back Michael Ironside. Like I feel like Hilary Swank wouldn't want to do it. She's won an Academy Award. She shortly after this, she did
I don't know.
Man.
You want to talk
about $1 Million Baby? Like
she is her breakout movie. She actually.
But let's bring in Michael Ironside back into Cobra Kai. That's what I would like to see.
And he's just. He's been fired, horribly disgraced. I don't.
Yeah.
What happens at the end of this movie? I hate they all of them end abruptly, and I'm just like, how the hell?
They all of them, even the remake. Like they tried to do a little bit of one, and then it still ends like just like that.
My car is exploded. I'm still mad. The movie was okay to me. It was stupid in parts. I could believe most of the shit that was happening. I get it to a point. But these fuckers blew up a car with gasoline and tried to. I was so mad. That was the. By the way, this is the first time I've seen this movie. I've never watched this piece of shit. I have never watched this piece of shit.
First and last.
This is your first time?
I heard about it. I was like, nope. And moved on with my life. It was. I ain't watch it on.
Worst B-side ever, man. I'm just
never saw this shit. I had to pay to watch this movie. I had to.
Oh shit, dude! Really?
Watch this movie. I want
that
my
makes
money
me fucking
back,
laugh. Actually, that's funny.
It was so bad. It makes my face hurt. And I watched that piece. I watched it the whole time. I was like, really? And then she goofy. Like, how's this awkward girl? Like, she's nursing birds and she's rebellious. And all this shit, she ain't rebellious. I thought she was like going and with friends and like doing evil shit. No, she nursing a baby bird, which she could have taken it home with her. Been like, just take the damn thing home with you. Why the fuck is it on your school roof? And every time you go to your school roof, you gotta fight the cops. Fuck that. And Michael Ironside was like, with the cigarette thing, the dude was like, I found these cigarettes on her. And it's like, if it happens again, we're going to expel you. You're going to get kicked out of school. You're done. Then they asses, she jumps on the roof, runs from all of the damn safety patrol, gets caught trespassing on school grounds and not expelled. She's suspended for 2 weeks. I was like, motherfucker. I hate this movie. I hate how dumb. There's no plot logic to it. It's not Karate Kid in any way. She is not a Karate Kid. She jumped on a car. She jumped on a pizza delivery. That's when Morita was like, Miyagi was like, yeah, you got the thing. How you jump on tiger pose and da. I was like, what? How do you? Yeah, she should have been hit. I think it should have hit Hillary Swank. I'm sorry, Hillary Swank. You should have got hit by that car. I hope you had gotten hit by that car. And then, like, no, I mean, I don't wish that on her. I'm just saying.
Oh, damn.
Because that's literally what you just said, Jelani. But
and then,
okay.
like, no. I want to get hit. So, like, there'll be some drama where she, like, has to, like, rebuild her body and shit. And all of a sudden, she's a karate ninja master, some shit. I would have liked that more than watching the shit I just saw. I don't know that way.
That might have worked. You're right.
Fuck this movie.
All right.
Fuck this waste of time film. It is a waste of time and effort. And I want my $4 back. I'm so mad. Oh, Jesus. It's terrible. Why you blow
Someone
up
give us
car?
a $5 super chat so I can give Jelani his $4 back. All right.
Fable.
Jelani, you don't got Netflix?
I ain't paying for no Netflix to watch this.
How are you watching Raw?
Well, Raw
I'm
came
not.
out,
Well,
yeah.
I gotta wait. I'm gonna wait to see if it's any good before I go
Okay.
forward. No, I got it. I got to work
It was
on
on Netflix. That's all.
I know.
It's on Netflix.
I know.
I'm super excited. I think Tupac's going to show up.
Yeah.
I'm really, really excited.
It's just
Fable,
a lot of
what
work.
do you think about the next Karate Kid?
That movie.
All right, so I don't hate this movie as much as you guys hate it. I do think it's dumb. I think it's part 3 levels dumb too. I think it's also another cash grab. It's like, it's been a few years. You think people want to come back to Karate Kid? You think that we'll bring them back? You know, it just has that feeling for me. I think there's some endearing moments. I like Pat Morita, you know, teaching this rebellious girl how to be a little more calm and stuff like that. And I think he does have some, like, there's moments where it's like, girls are different than boys, you know. You can't teach the girl like the boy, you know, and they show some of that. And I thought it was a little funny here and there. But I mean, what ultimately brings this movie down is the villains. This is the weakest villains. Like, and that's crazy to say when you got freaking Victor from Total Recall, you know, see you at the party, Victor. With how is Michael Ironside weak? That makes no sense to me. And then the kid, his top goon. Oh God! Talk about wanting to punch somebody immediately in the face.
A punchable face.
Yeah, I mean, all of them do in a lot of ways. Like what was the
Danny
kid
would
from
whoop his ass?
Johnny and Chosen? They all have, you know, fuck this guy. This guy's an arrogant piece of shit. But this kid, just he has no redeemability to him. Like, he just looks like a piece of crap from, like, I don't know. He was terrible.
Want me to the dock? God, you piece of shit.
Yeah, no, and Michael Ironside.
And his goofy ass teeth. I hate his teeth.
Michael Ironside is there telling his kids to kill people.
Yes.
Like, no.
Encouraging them to kill.
Take them out. Like, what are you talking about?
Blow up a car.
Yeah. Yeah, but I do like the fight scene at the end better than the fight scene from part 3. Part 3's tournament ending was kind of weak. Hillary Swank kind of kicked that guy's ass, which I wanted to see because he's such a fucking, like, you know, lame-o. She whooped his ass. And then Miyagi whooped Ironside's ass. And so I kind of like that end fight scene, but yeah, it's super weak. It's super lame. This one is not that great at all.
All right. Brooks, the voice of reason. What do you think?
Well, I remember I watched this movie as a kid, and I remember thinking it was pretty good. But on the rewatch, it does suck. It's not very good. But like, I kind of agree with Fable. It's not as bad, I think, as it seems. I think there's something there. It's just like it's very much like wrapped up in this kind of bullshit, like typical 90s shit. Like, you know, especially like Hillary Swank's character, she's very like coded as this like not the 90s girl character, but she's like a rebel. But like, you know, I think it could have been done right, but like, you know, they didn't have anything to build up to. Like, you know, in most Karate Kid movies, there's like an end. The last battle is kind of set up ahead of time, where there's like a tournament or like, you know, a grudge or a vendetta or something. But in this one, it's like, you know, it isn't so much. Like, it's just at the end, she's, you know, at prom, at the dance, and then all of a sudden these fucking like this weird like fucking group of idiot like militant like frat boys or whatever like just pick a fight and blow up this dude's car, and then like all of a sudden there's like death match at the docks. It's like, what the fuck is this? Like, it's making silly.
It is that.
Dogs.
And like with Daniel's story, like, it built up to that kind of silliness. But like this character, Julie San, she doesn't have that yet. Like, they pushed her too quick into the like complete realm of complete ridiculousness. Like, she just started like, maybe she enters a tournament to like make these guys like leave her alone. Like, if I win the tournament, you guys fuck off and don't bother me anymore. I think that would have been like, a good start for her. But like, I think they just went too far with it. And like, it's got a lot of background.
Like, why do you want to beat on a girl so bad? Like, that was another weird thing. Like, let me whoop this woman's ass.
Let me whoop this girl's ass.
What the hell?
For no reason. Yeah.
Like,
it was a lot.
Well, there's some rapey vibes to this too, right?
Yeah.
I mean, like when he first like comes up on her while she's like just sitting there.
Doesn't even one of his buddies say like, we can all have our fun?
Yeah.
Some shit like that, right?
What if she was fighting karate mean girls? That would have been crazy.
That would have been perfect.
Yo, that would have been great.
It should have been girls.
If you want to see karate mean girls, you should watch Cobra Kai, Fable. Just so you know.
I was going to say nothing, but we should watch Cobra Kai, dude.
Yeah.
Like half of this fucking
review
is like, you should watch Cobra Kai, bro.
Immediately.
I feel like the whole point of this stream now is that Fable's going to watch that shit. Like, you just wait and see. All right, time to rate this bitch. You out there in the chat, what do you rate the next Karate Kid? I'm going to give it a rare score that I give movies. I'm going to give it a 1. 1 you dig. I'm going to give it a half a you dig because congratulations, you made a movie that's hard. And I'll give it a half a you dig for Pat Morita. That's literally it. There's nothing else about this movie to me that is redeemable. I appreciate you, Fable and Brooks, for what y'all are saying. I disagree. I think this movie is shit. And it's like, this is in the vein of Blade 3. It's a movie that just doesn't exist because the world is better if it doesn't exist.
I ain't mad at it, bro. I ain't mad at it.
So I give it a 1.
This shit back then.
What about you, Jelani?
Christ. I mean, she can almost get it. I'm still thinking about it now. Like, it's close. Like if I had to, like, if I was drunk and I was in high school and like she came at me, I'm like, you're kind of awkward. Yeah, okay. Maybe.
Are we scoring a movie here?
Well, you would just wait.
Well, what would you think about the bangs, though, Jelani? That's what I want to know.
The bangs and the hair. Just kind of do it.
I mean, they're not quite Courtney Cox Scream 3 level bangs, but they're pretty.
It's the cutoff shirts, man. It's the cutoff shirts. That's what
I'm saying. I'm trying to rate it. I'm trying to rate it based on her appearance because I'm apparently
because you rate movies on rewatchability.
I'm trying to watch the movie again with Hilary Swank in it, and I can't do it. It's an awful film. Like, it's a poor premise. They blow up a fucking car. She's almost hot. So I'm going to give this a 0.5. This is a 0.5 because she doesn't even save it. Pat Morita is the only good thing in this, but the problem is he's underutilized. Jump from one rock to the other. They don't even show her. The shot is she doesn't jump from one rock to the other rock. All you have to do is show me that. You didn't show me that in this movie. This is the only movie that doesn't have a shot that's not an explosion. They don't. If you shown me on the camera, because you didn't, then you showed me a portion of it. You showed me showing her jump from one here to here. You jump from here to here, but you don't see her land on the rock. And the fact you didn't show me that, that's the part of the movie that kind of kills it. Other than the fucking car. Fuck that bullshit. Fuck this movie. It's a waste of time. 0.5. 0.5. Fuck
all right.
This movie.
I like how Jelani was leaning into the whole, there's only this one thing that I hate about this movie. Then he realized, no.
Yeah.
0.5, I hate everything about this movie, except for maybe the fact that Hilary Swank might be hot. What about you, Fable? What do you rate this film?
Again, I don't hate this movie as much as you guys, but I do think it's very mid, very meh. very middle of the road. And you said something, I think, earlier. I don't know if it was you, Robbie, but it does feel like a Disney afternoon special version of the Karate Kid.
It's that.
which everything they make is mid. So I'm struggling between a 2 and a 2.5. But I'm gonna give it a 2.5 because I love Pat Morita, man. I really do. And seeing him one last time, always gets me. So I'll give it a 2.5.
All right, 2.5 from Fable. What about you, Brooks?
Well, I give this movie a 2. I think it's pretty bad, especially coming off of the original trilogy. Like, this movie just does not live up to the standards. But I think there is the seed of something there that it could have been done better. I think they just kind of they didn't want to put the effort into it. They just wanted to cash in on the franchise and see if throwing what if Karate Kid but girl would be enough to revive the franchise. But that could have worked. But you need, it's you got to do like the first one. You got to build up to the ridiculousness, and they didn't do that. I think they tried to just kind of rush it too much. They're trying to compress a Karate Kid trilogy into a single movie, and it just doesn't work. And
the movie's pace is terrible.
Yeah, it's not really paced either.
What did you rate it, Brooks?
A 2.
So a 2 from you, a 1 from me, a 0.5 from Jelani, and a 2.5 from Fable. That's interesting. Here's something more interesting. Bobby De La Ghetto gave it a 4.68. Two Gun says not even a 0.69.
I mean, every movie is somebody's favorite.
That's true, and we're not going to hate you for that,
Yeah.
Hillary Swank is kind of can get it. So anyway, our boy Spilio gave Karate Kid, or the next Karate Kid, Part 4. I mean, fuck. He gave it a 2.5. 2.5. So he was there
in the same way, yeah.
All right.
After this discussion, he should have been here for this.
The next Karate Kid was released on September 9th, 1994. Your birthday, Brooks.
Oh,
this was your birthday present when you turned 11 or some shit? 12, 11, something like that? 10? When were you born? 83? 82? 82, right?
I was born in 81.
Oh, so you're 13, right? You're turning 13 here.
Yeah.
All right.
The day I was a teenage boy.
A budget of $12 million. It made $15.8 million at the box office.
Damn.
That's bad.
That's when they were like, yep, we're done.
We're done.
We're fucking done. And then in 2010, somehow, Will Smith got the rights to Karate Kid. Somehow that happened. And in fact, he still has the rights in some part to Karate Kid. Because if you watch Cobra Kai, who's listed as an executive producer in every fucking episode? Will Smith. Will Smith has some kind of a hold on Karate Kid. And they decided, let's remake Karate Kid. But instead of remaking the movie with the same characters, we'll create different characters in a different setting. So instead of Mr. Miyagi, we got Jackie Chan playing Mr. Han. Instead of Daniel LaRusso, we have Jaden Smith. Is it Jaden? Yes, Jaden, right?
Jaden.
Playing, oh shit, what's the fucking kid's name in this movie?
Dre.
Dre. Yeah.
Yeah.
Jaden Smith playing Dre.
Dre. Octavius.
Aside from the fact that they actually changed the characters, it's literally the same movie.
It's the same.
It is the same movie. It's the exact same plot and everything. And what's interesting is that in the new Karate Kid movie, Karate Kid Legacy, Mr. Han's in the movie.
Mm-hmm.
Daniel's in the movie. And a new Karate Kid. And they're talking about the whole tagline of the new movie is 2 branches, 1 tree. Kung Fu, Karate, Miyagi, Han, or Daniel and Han, but Miyagi being the tree, like balance being the what these practices lead us to, which one of my favorite things about the Karate Kid franchise is all of these films, except for Next Karate Kid, stress the importance of balance and like stability mentally and physically and spiritually, right? Like, I love that. Like, meditation is the most important. Daniel breaks the ice in part 2 because he's able to like focus when he brings himself back into the moment.
I know how they're gonna connect it too. That Miyagi in part 2 says that is the picture of one of his relative ancestors.
He trained
went
in China.
to China.
Yep.
And his wife and his kid are from China, so they're half Chinese in a lot of ways, or they have Chinese lineage. But anyway, my bad. I didn't mean to.
That's true.
No, that's a great point, man. I'm glad I'm glad you brought that up. So basically, what happens? Will Smith, I think, gets a hold of the rights of Karate Kid, in some part, to make a vehicle for his son, right? To reboot the movie, 2010. I had never seen this movie, right? And one of the reasons why I wanted to do my reverse order is because I remember not liking Next Karate Kid. And honestly, I think the franchise from 1 is good. 2 is a little bit less good, but still good. 3 is a little bit less. Next is best. And so I just thought it would be like a decline this entire time, right? So I wanted to like climb up, and I had never seen this movie. So when I watched it, and I don't own it physically, but I am going to buy it physically. So I have the entire franchise, and also because this movie didn't suck. I liked this movie. I actually liked this movie, and it shocked me. It's the longest of all of them. It drags a little bit. That is a problem. Jaden Smith is kind of charming in the movie, right? He gets annoying at times, but so does Daniel, especially in part 3, right? Daniel can get annoying too, but I didn't mind him. I love Jackie Chan as Mr. Han. Like when I compare this to the original, it sucks, right? Like you don't outdo wax on, wax off, paint the fence. You don't outdo that with the jacket bit. Like, I don't know, like that kind of worked, I guess. Like Jackie Chan came up with that whole concept, I guess. It's all right. It's okay. Whatever.
Everything is kung fu.
Yeah, it didn't really work for me as far as like the way that paint the fence and sand the floor and wax on, wax off did. But it did work, right? It did still work. It still led to that moment. The moment where he like starts throwing those fucking punches at Dre, just like Miyagi did to Daniel. And you're just like, oh my God. And he's realizing it. It's so cool. You got the little love story. The bully in this movie, they all seem very young, right? Like in Karate Kid, I guess they're supposed to be like 16, 17, something like that, right?
Like,
in this one, they're like 12, 13 or something, right?
These are the most athletic 12-year-olds you've ever seen in your entire life.
No shit. Yeah. If you don't think Damian Wayne can be Robin,
it can be done. It can be done.
I love the bully in this movie, and I love the teacher at the bully dojo, right? Like, I thought they were great. Jackie Chan sells it for me. I love the fact that they took it to China, and I love the fact that they went to that temple, and you saw like the monk with the fucking cobra and all that shit. Like, I'll be honest with you, man. Karate Kid 2010 kind of rocks, man. I kind of like this movie. I'm really surprised that I do. I want to know what y'all think. What do you think, Jelani?
It doesn't suck. It's not the next Karate Kid. They don't blow up a car. It doesn't leap to like jumping sharks in the middle. It's like they started jumping a shark in the next Karate Kid, and it was just like they did it, and they were like, "No, we should jump piranhas with sharks. We should jump more things." It's like this movie it's pretty good. I'm not mad at it. It doesn't have like weird tropes in it. Jaden is charming. I like that the way he trains. I like Jackie Chan is a fantastic mentor anyway. The mom, what's her name? Hustle and Flow and Empire. She's great in the film. Taraji P. Henson. Yeah, she's not bad in this movie. I like her. Like, I like how stern she is. You know, stuff like that.
Oh, that's another thing. How he ties in the lesson to something in his personal life, like respect for his mother, right? Yeah, and that's pretty
like
fucking dope.
Showing it in, and by the way, I will say this. This is the best. That's the best fucking ending kick of any of these movies. That motherfucker flips up, like does a flip, and I was like, damn, Like, I was impressed. I was impressed because he's fast. He had a capoeira. He had a capoeira, Brazilian capoeira background. So he already knew how to use the flow. Plus, he was intrigued by the snake and the charming, which brings Cobra Kai in there. And yep. So, but it shows that he's able to control his opponent. And he was trying to, I love how he was looking at his mom, trying to control her. And she was like, "What are you doing?
Stop being so fucking weird."
It's so weird. Yeah, I love that shit, man.
But it captures that whole content. Like I'm not. I get that. I think that kids today and even adults, I think adults need to watch new movies, and I think kids need to watch old movies, right?
Yeah.
But we remember when we were growing up in the 80s that we thought movies from the fucking 60s were old movies.
Mm-hmm.
Why would I watch that movie? It's so old.
Right.
That's why they remake these things, right? And sometimes they can be soulless and weird, like Psycho, right? Like, why remake Psycho? Why remake Karate Kid, right?
Right.
But they did it differently enough, but it does still bring that whole, everything that Karate Kid is brought into this movie. The relationship and dynamic between the main character and his mother, being in a new place, the relationship between him and his mentor, right? Like that balance is more important than kicking ass. Like, it's all there. Now, obviously, Jackie Chan's scene, beating the car up, repairing it, all that, it's more overwrought, right? It's a 2010 movie, so it's like it's a little too overwrought. It's not as nuanced. They have to hit you over the head with these things because they're also trying to do it the same thing but differently. But honestly, man, I think they do nail the tone of the film and the journey. Right?
It works. It works in a lot of different ways. The problems I have with it is also the pacing. There's scenes that go way too long.
A tad long. It's a
way
tad
too
2 hours
long.
and 20 minutes.
The whole damn chase scene with them going all the way up to before they meet Han. You could have cut most of that out. There are parts I wanted to fast forward through because I was like, damn. This scenes went way too long than they should have, and like you could have cut like probably 30 minutes.
Yeah, you could definitely cut a half hour out of this easily.
And it'd been fine. It'd been just fine. Like the evil Cobra Kai dude, he was fine. It's parallels to the first movie. It's everything is basically parallels to the first movie. He even tells him sweep the leg. Sweep the leg, Johnny. It's so you see it coming, but I don't mind that it's coming. It was kind of welcome to see it. And Jaden Smith, like I don't know, he's a weirdo now. I don't know what the hell's wrong with him now, but he had an acting career, and that After Earth or whatever he did, I forgot what the name of the movie.
At least he's not dumpy.
He's not dumpy, not even in the slightest. He's a lean, mean fight machine, and he could have kept doing these had he not been, turned into a weirdo. I don't know what.
I would have liked to have seen a sequel to this one.
Actually. Yeah, it wouldn't be half bad. I would not be against it. It's a good film. The soundtrack's okay. It is the Kung Fu Kid though. You just can't. They talk about Kung Fu the whole time. Karate is never mentioned in this movie.
Karate's not. That's not what they're teaching in this movie. That is the weird bit, man. That is a weird bit.
Why are you calling it the Karate Kid? That's why.
Because you get Jackie Chan involved, and Jackie Chan is a Kung Fu Hong Kong guy.
Kung Fu guy,
right? So like,
but you can't. But still,
because I think honestly they were like, Americans don't know the difference between karate and kung fu.
No, don't.
And it's true. It's true, probably, right?
Oh, come on.
Most of the muggles out there, the average person, right? The normies, like I hate to say it. Well, maybe it's because I live in Alabama, right? But a lot of people down here do not differentiate too much between Chinese and Japanese. But honestly, there's a big fucking difference. In the culture and the people and the everything about it. But yeah, so that's why I think this new Karate Kid movie is going to try to bridge that a little bit, right? Kung Fu, karate, two branches, same tree. It's all about balance. It's all about these movies soar when they're more about teaching the student about life and how this, like karate or kung fu, is just kind of a metaphor for life. Karate, kung fu, it's the force in these movies. You know what I'm saying? What about you, Fable? What do you think about the Karate Kid remake?
I was trying to get a point. Hold on.
Oh shit, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, it's fine. I was gonna say real quick, they could have made it karate. They should have had Jackie Chan teach him karate, and everyone else was learning kung fu. Like, it's a different style. I mean, Miyagi came from China. I mean, his do came from China. And that's what I was trying to say. He's a Japanese student that came from China. If you're going to do that, then why is it not the Karate Kid? Why is he not teaching him karate? And like, he learns karate to combat kung fu. And like, he's getting his ass whooped by kung fu, but like, he's still doing the ha, you know, and he's actually learning karate and actually be the Karate Kid in China while they're using kung fu. That's what I was trying to get to.
Then the movie wouldn't have played in China very well.
Right. And of course they were working well with China. And it was
you can't film it. You can't get access to the Great Wall if you're not going to make it. I mean, I think that's a big thing too. A lot of Hollywood movies do that now. They cater to the Chinese audience because that's a big audience that helps the international box office, man. Really does. Dude.
Ask the MCU about that.
Yeah. What about you, Fable? What do you think about Karate Kid 2010?
I really like this movie, guys. This is the first time I watched it. I was on some, I don't want to see no Jaden Smith. I don't want to see Will Smith's kid in a movie shit when this came out. And I'm kind of mad at myself that I did it. And I think Jaden Smith is a missed talent, is a missed opportunity. I mean, that kid could have kept going and kept making movies and become a big star. The kid is a great child actor, to be honest with you.
He did that trash movie with his dad before. So
I like that movie too, even though it's not the best thing in the world. I thought it was all right.
Rage.
It was all right. But I think he's a better child actor than most. We see a lot of terrible child actors. Mm-hmm. Jackie Chan is phenomenal. I agree with Robbie. They hit all the beats. Yes, they changed this little thing here, this little thing there, try to make it their own or whatever. Some of it works, some of it doesn't. But if this is your first exposure to the Karate Kid franchise, if this is your first movie, then everything you need is there, and you can get the same lessons and everything that the one that from the 80s taught us for the kids for today. So I thought that it worked. The cinematography is absolutely gorgeous. Some of those China wall scenes, fighting on the roof, the snake thing, like you mentioned before. I even love when at the end at the tournament when they zoomed in on the kid's face like twice, like if it was a kung fu movie. That was fucking awesome when they did that. I was like, and the kid had that sneer, like, hey, let's go. You know what I mean? It was. I love the cinematography in this movie, and this by far, by leaps and bounds, had the best fight choreography
of
any of these movies. Mm-hmm. And I'm talking about hands down. Like, it's not even a match.
Jackie Chan was involved.
Jackie Chan's fight with the kids in the damn thing where he made them all beat each other up was freaking phenomenal. And Jaden Smith puts Ralph Macchio to freaking shame. And he was 12 years old. And this kid looks like he could
fuck Ralph Macchio and his dumpy ass, man.
Dumpy, man.
So, no, this one surprised, like Robbie said, surprised me about how much I actually like this movie. And if I wasn't to physical collecting, Robbie, yeah, definitely go grab it, man, for sure. It's worth it.
Yeah, it can't be expensive, man. I rented it from my boy's video store. I watched it on DVD because I was like, "Do you got the Jackie Chan Karate Kid movie?" He goes, "Yeah. Why are you watching that?" And I was like, "We're doing this whole thing." He's like, "Oh, I'm sorry. It's in our Jackie Chan section. His video store is so badass. He has a Jackie Chan section."
Yeah. The only thing I would say is shave 20 to 30 minutes off of this movie, and it becomes even that much better.
I agree. Yeah. I agree. I think this is almost it would be a very high score if it was like just shaved down just a little bit.
That's all it is.
Speaking of perfect score, if he was shaved down a little bit, Brooks, you sexy motherfucker. What do you think about Karate Kid 2010?
I like this movie. Like I wasn't expecting much of it. Like I remember when it came out, and like the general consensus that as I recall is that people thought it was all right. Like, nobody thought it was too terrible, but nobody really thought it was like, better than the original. And I think that's fair. Like, there are things about it that are better than the original. Like, the fight scenes are better, but I think overall, like, plot wise, it is pretty much the same kind of deal. But they do put like, enough of a different spin on it to make it like not just like, a beat for beat kind of remake. And I think Jaden Smith does a pretty good job of like, being this charismatic kind of kid. He's a little bit cocky, but he's got that charm. He does feel a little, you can see the shadow of Daniel LaRusso in this kid. And like, one of the things that like, I like that they kept in the idea of like, martial arts and like, whether it's karate or kung fu is about movement. It's about how you move. Mm-hmm. So like, in doing the jacket thing is, and like, what's his name again? What's this kid's name?
Dre,
yeah. Like Dre learning like, basically kind of the same thing as wax on, wax off, but like, so he finally gets fed up and he like approaches him and is like, well, you're just teaching me this bullshit. And then, he shows him, what the deal is. That's what he said. I think it feels a little bit long. Like, I think it could have been trimmed down a little bit. And like, I would like to see a sequel to this movie too. Like, I figured like, the kid at the tournament with the mohawk, I figured like I bet there's for like some
that
sequels.
Was cool, right?
You think you think Hawk's a reference to that, man?
I think it's possible. Yeah.
Hawk is, by the way, a character fable in Cobra Kai.
It's a Cobra Kai.
By the way, none of these characters have shown up in Cobra Kai, but we all hope the Cobra Kai ends with Jackie Chan showing up to meet Daniel. So.
One thing you couldn't do though, if you were to do a part 2, is you couldn't do like a parking lot scene after the tournament, because the kid isn't the kid anymore.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, no shit. You can't just do it immediately following that. Yeah, man, I'm glad that it seems like we were all very kind of pleasantly surprised. Was this the first time for everybody?
Yeah.
Wow. Me too. And I was really shocked, man. Really shocked. So let's rate the film. You out there in the chat, what do you rate the 2010 Karate Kid? I'm going to kick us off. It's got pacing issues. That's the biggest issue for me. The biggest issue is the pacing. Aside from that, man, I like the performances. I love the cinematography. You mentioned that, Fable. It looks great. Every scene that they're in the monastery and you're seeing the monks doing their shit, man. That's badass.
Oh, the Kung Fu kids.
Dude. And
it was gorgeous.
And you're right. Like the best fight choreography in all of the films and all the performances as far as that goes is stellar. This movie's really good. It just needs some time shaved off of it. It's a little overwrought as far as the pacing. It just spends too long on certain things. But man, I really like this movie. I'm going to give it a 4. I'm going to give this a 4 out of 5. You digs. You out there in the chat, what do you think? Jelani, what do you think?
I agree. It's a very good film. Jaden Smith, I don't know. He needed not to be like crazy after this. I don't know what happened, but ever since he hit puberty, he's just been a weird kid. But in this film, he's fantastic.
Yeah.
I just like his whole aura. He was his father. He's a lot of his father in him. And
there's a lot of Will Smith.
There's a lot of Will Smith. Yeah. And you can tell, and it just.
But Will Smith wasn't this good when he was 12. That's the difference.
He wasn't this good when he was 12. Yeah. But like the fact that he was that good at that time, it's fantastic.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'll give this one a 4.2 because he's. There's nothing wrong with it. Jackie Chan is fantastic. I really wish he fought the Cobra Kai Kreese guy. I just really think that they should have had a fight.
It could still happen, man.
Yeah.
we got a whole other movie coming. Let's see what happens. Maybe he shows up at the end of Cobra Kai. Cobra Kai's got 5 episodes left. Do you think Jackie Chan shows up? That would be so dope. That would be a perfect tie-in.
Just throw every fucking thing in there.
Yeah. And then Hilary Swank comes out with the bird.
Yeah.
She's like, I found the bird, and the bird's got babies.
And he shows up at the very end with the fucking bird on her shoulder. Just like,
I got the help. I jumped from one rock to the other. Yeah.
Hell yeah. A 4 from Jelani, dude. That's awesome, man. Hell yeah.
I love it.
What about you?
It needs time.
Yeah. What about you, Fable? What are you thinking?
I don't disagree with a 4, but I think it's better than a 4, only because I'm trying to take the rest of the franchise out of my mind and place this movie on its own, where it's like, this is my first time watching this kind of thing. I don't have the Miyagi in my head. I'm not comparing it to Daniel at every fucking turn, which is something we're going to do regardless if we want to do it or not. We grew up on the original stuff, so it's always going to be like, oh, that was okay. I get it. That's a little different. Oh, I see what they did there. If you're just watching it raw, let's say, I think it's damn good. So I'm going to say 4.5 for this one.
Hell yeah. All right. We got a 3 from Bobby out there in the chat. So that's pretty nice. What about you, Brooks? What do you think about Karate Kid 2010?
Yeah, I agree with you two guys. Like, I think this is a 4. Like, it's good. It's not as good as the original, but it is good in its own way. Like, I think this is a movie I could see also coming to like more the more I watch it too. Like, so like I may like, if I ever rewatch it, I might end up liking it more. It feels like a movie that could, grow on you over time. But I do compare it a bit to the rest of the franchise, and so it doesn't quite live up to like the original first, or any of the original trilogy. But it's still I think this is a movie that I would recommend if you were watching if you were recommending the Karate Kid franchise. I would say you could skip next Karate Kid, but I think this movie would be like, one I would recommend.
Yeah, for sure. Sure. It's the rare remake in these franchise reviews we do that actually works, right?
Yeah.
A 4 from me, Jelani and Brooks, and a 4.5 from Fable. So pretty high ratings. In fact, if I kind of just piece it all together in my head, seems like the ranking of the 5 movies is this. At number 5, we got Next Karate Kid. At number 4, we've got Karate Kid Part 3. At number 3, we've got the 2010 remake. Yep. At number 2, we got Part 2. And at number 1, the original. Right? Like, that seems like, does everybody agree with that ranking? That seems
I agree with that.
Yeah. This has been, and here's the thing. We always talk about what are the most consistent, solid franchises. I don't know if we've ever mentioned Karate Kid, but aside from one movie, it's pretty solid.
Not bad.
I'll rewatch any one of these anytime except for Next Karate Kid.
It's just especially just like if you take out 4 and you leave it as a trilogy, it's comparable to Back to the Future, because I think we gave Back to the Future the same kind of thing. It's like Part 1's a classic. Part 2 is like a classic depending on how you feel. You know what I mean? What time it hit for you.
Yeah.
It might be a little less than Part 1, but at the same time, it might be interchangeable. And then Part 3 is a little lower than the first 2, but you still love it.
Yeah.
That's like the first 3
same writer,
movies.
Same director, all the way through, same actors. Like the Back to the Future is like really a weekend in the life of Marty McFly, if you really think about it, right? Yep. And this is like a year in the life of Daniel. Like, it's very similar, man. The 80s knew what the fuck they were doing. And it was called Carl Jung and Joseph Campbell and George Lucas, like, nailed that. Steven Spielberg, like, they just don't make them anymore. I think everybody tries to be too clever nowadays. And when you try to be too clever, you wind up with Next Karate Kid. You know what I'm saying? So, hell yeah for the franchise. One of my favorites. I think this was super fun. Thus concludes our review of the Karate Kid franchise. But join us next week, because PCP Movie Night has just started for 2025, y'all. Next week, we're talking about a Michael Mann film I've never seen. We're talking about Thief, starring James Caan. It's available to stream for free on Tubi. So that's where you can check it out. I've never seen this movie. It was sent to us by a fan of the channel and a friend of mine. And so we are reviewing it. I love Michael Mann. I love his films, but I've never seen this one. It's got a Tangerine Dream score. Ooh. I'm very excited to check this one out. I have the Criterion Blu-ray, but it is available to stream for free on Tubi. Jelani, thank you so much for being here. Final thoughts and what you got coming up.
Yeah, man. Really glad to be here. Thank you so much for this, because I was surprised that I would like the Karate Kid again this much. So revisiting it was very fun, especially when I did like a wham bam thank you ma'am for like 3 of these movies just back to back. Yeah, it was worth it, except for Next Karate Kid. That can really, really just eat it. Yeah. But Brooks and I do this thing called Go Figure Reviews. And recently we just did our top 5 best of 2024 figures. He does 5, I do 5. It's a top 10, but yeah, it works. We are really super excited on this one. Please check it out. We also did this is not Wolverine. This is the CT Toys bootleg Wolverine. It's a Mafex kind of bootleg. It's amazing. Now that I've played with it more, I can get him in the fastball special pose. And if I can get my Colossus hand, I'll have him throwing, and I'll put a picture of it probably on our website. I'm super excited for this figure. I'm probably going to buy another one. This was like $22. It's super cheap for a Mafex knockoff, which the Mafex figure itself is like $100.
Yeah, those are like $100 figures, man.
They're $100 figures.
Yeah,
so
I got the
like,
Blade one, man. They're pricey, man.
They're very pricey. So yeah, check our videos out. Thank you guys so much for subscribing and tell your friends about us. We're trying to make toy videos every week. We got stuff coming. I'm really excited. And of course, get out there and go figure.
Hell yeah. Fable, Thank you so much for being here, man. Final thoughts. What you got coming up?
Final thoughts. Yeah, man. If you wanna watch one of the most quintessential '80s movies or franchises of all time, Karate Kid, do yourself a favor. This is one of those that you have
including Cobra Kai, Fable.
And I will watch Cobra Kai.
Now we've hyped it up so much, he's going to watch it and be like, guys, this fucking show sucks.
3.5. It's a 3.5. Catch me in the middle of the month. I believe the 14th. We're doing Absolute Book Club. It's a show where me, Stu, and Scotty go over the Absolute comics from DC. This time we're covering Superman, Absolute Superman 1 through 3. We've already done Batman and Wonder Woman, so now we're getting into Superman. That'll be on my channel because we rotate channels. So catch that mid of the month, and at the end of the month, the 31st, me, Nick, Stu, and the gang, we return for the all new, all different Blame Fable show. But we're doing a Comics Curing Cancer special for that episode. So we'll be giving away some items. If you donate to the American Cancer Society, we'll put your name on a wheel. And the more you donate, the more chances you get your name on the wheel. And Nick has put together some awesome packages for people to win that night. So definitely hang out with us, donate to a good cause, and get a chance to win some awesome things, man. That'll be the 31st of this month.
Hell yeah, man.
Yeah.
Fuck yeah, man. Thank you so much for doing that, and thank you so much for being here.
Hell yeah, absolutely. Thank you, brother.
Brooks-san, final thoughts.
Yeah, PCP, we have a saying. You're the best around. Nothing's going to ever keep you down.
You're the best around.
And there's no other way to end it other than that, except for me to say thank you all so much for being here. Join us next week for Thief by Michael Mann. For PCP Movie Night, we got a great lineup and a great panel of guests. And what Brooks said plus Station X, y'all. Get ready. This is going to be so much fun. Anyway, peace out. We love you. And wax on, wax off, all that shit, right?
Yeah.
Where's the button?
Paint the floor. Wash the ceiling.
Watch the seal.
That's what you should have done for this Karate Kid.
Like, hold on a second.
Wipe your ass. Pull up your pants. Pull down your pants. Take a shit. Wipe
Everything.
your ass.
Everything. Yep.
Pull up your pants. Yeah, the outro button's not working, but we can do it manually. Here we go. Bye, y'all.
song, baby. Oh, Fable's gone. No, Fable.
We're still live. Hold on a second.
Why are we still live?
Oh, because I fucked up. Okay, now I get. Here we